How'd you sleep last night?
A new Gallup poll finds that the majority of Americans, 57%, would feel better if they could have more sleep, while only 42% say they're getting as much sleep as they need. In contrast, in 2013, when Americans were last asked, it was just about the reverse. 56% saying they got the needed sleep, and 43% saying they didn't. The poll also asked respondents to report how many hours of sleep they usually get per night. Only 26% said they got 8 hours or more, which is around the amount sleep experts say is recommended for health and mental well-being. The majority reported getting only 6 to 7 hours. I'm Charles de Lethesma.
An independent experts commission has recommended that abortion in Germany be made legal during the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. Currently, it's considered illegal in Germany, but not punishable if a woman undergoes mandatory counseling in a 3-day wait period. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, this pro golfer is on the top of the world after winning his second Masters in 3 years.
World number one, Scotty Scheffler, has cruised to his second green jacket. Scheffler was in a four-way tie for the lead after 7 holes, but then upped the ante with birdies at 8, 9 and 10. He then watched as his rivals fell away. Colin Morikawa made 2 quick double bogeys. Sweden's Ludwig Åberg found water at 11, and Max Homa was lucky to escape with a double bogey after almost losing his ball at 12. With the pressure off, Scheffler pulled away, posting a final round 68 to finish 11 under, in the end 4 clear of the Masters rookie Åberg. It was Scheffler's third win in his last 4 tournaments. Graham Agars, Augusta.
The FBI reportedly conducting a criminal investigation of the deadly collapse of Baltimore's Key Bridge, focusing on the circumstances leading up to it and whether all federal laws had been followed. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this floor will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to it. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button.
I'm on 3. Like, yeah, Monday.
Sorry, I Mondayed the button. Worrying like everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. So.
We stand on the precipice of... I saw this in a meme a while back, and I stand by this. I'm so tired of living in interesting times. Like, I am sick and tired of living through... someday we'll get to tell our grandchildren, we lived through interesting times, but I'm tired of interesting times. I want dull times.
We all live in interesting times.
Miss dullness.
Yeah. Just garden variety, nothing going on.
Mundanity, you know?
Ooh, start a country. Mundanity.
Welcome to Mundanity. Not a lot happens here. We like to keep things low-key.
Speaking of starting countries, there's a show on Max that they started here a couple months ago called The Regime. And it stars Kate Winslet.
Okay.
And I've only seen the commercials, but the commercials I'm kind of curious to watch the show. I just haven't watched it. But it looks like she's in charge of some fictitious country.
Okay.
And they're trying to make it, it's like a small country making it, and I don't know, it's kind of like The Crown, but like ghetto version.
So is it played up for comedy or is it?
I think it's comedy. Yes.
Okay.
I think it leans heavy in comedy. I think it's what's the term? Dramedy is what they like to use now.
Yep.
I think it's that, but I think it leans heavier in the comedy because Kate Winslet kind of plays like an over-the-top queen, almost dictator-like person. So,
you know, it's funny that certain people, you don't really like appreciate them until you find them in a specific role.
Yeah.
Like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, for example. The entire run of Seinfeld, she's aight.
Yeah.
She was never like my favorite character. Elaine was never like my, that great Elaine scene. Her performance in Veep is, I mean, it's otherworldly how hysterical this woman can be.
Well, and that's really her only, like, her true vehicle. Like, her show.
It was.
Everything else she's done, she's a...
Well, she was known as Elaine up until that very point.
But even in movies and things, she's part of an ensemble. She's not one to carry a program herself. Veep was the one vehicle that she could do that, and she is funny.
Yeah, they gave her the reins, and she ran with them, and has done a great job. But just you're talking about that show, the regime reminded me of her performance in Veep and how, it could, if something is done up with a right amount of seriousness and then played for comedy and then like turned right at the end, it's just it's cinematic perfection.
And you mentioned Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I read a little factoid a couple weeks ago that the movie Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie that came out, it was the 90s or whenever that was.
1993, something.
Yeah, whenever that movie came out. Mary McCormick plays his wife in that movie.
Allison.
Yes. Here in just a wee bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot will join us. He pops in each month, talks house buying with us. If you're looking for a home, might want to listen in. He always has good advice for folks, especially first-time home buyers. So we'll have that conversation here about 8:15 or so. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to have Tori Hornick back with us with the UFO Skate Collective, UFO Skate Bash, and get an update from her on, of course, they've got some stuff coming up, updates on the skate park and the updates on where that's at and building that new thing. And they've got some events coming up and things, too. So we'll get an update from Tori here about 9:15 or so this morning.
I think I found myself a new hobby. Over the course of like last week and this weekend.
Okay.
I've been thinking about it, kind of been toying with it and stuff. But I went ahead and pulled the trigger and ordered on Friday a not professional, but a semi-professional home bar kit.
Home bar kit?
Home bar kit.
You're going to be your own bartender?
I'm thinking about, I was looking into it, and I was watching several videos over the weekend about building a home bar. Like building out, like becoming, like learning mixology and like learning how to make like a stable of like 20 drinks. Like professional, like I was watching how they make Cosmos, where you take the orange peel and you light it, like you squirt over a light and it like sets it on fire.
Yeah,
just different like techniques like that.
Got a little Tom Cruise cocktail action.
I want to start learning how to mix a cocktail. But the set I got, it's got the Boston shaker with the 2 tin cups, several strainers. It's got a couple of the pour spouts.
Okay.
But yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, this would be a fun thing to pick up.
Yeah.
Plus, you get a couple friends together, and I could all of a sudden whip you up a Negroni.
There you go. Got to watch copious amounts of hours of bar rescue to learn the some of the smile when you're shaking.
Right.
Look over the bar, make sure everybody's taken care of.
Well, what's crazy is I've been watching this YouTube channel called How to Drink, and they have this. It's like a 4K slow-mo camera that when they shoot, like the way he does his ice, he'll have like a straight cue of ice, and he'll drop one, and he'll take another one. He'll use his bar spoon to break it into pieces.
Okay.
And the way they show the ice just kind of shattering and falling in the glass all slow, it's really fun to watch. So I've been doing a lot of that, kind of studying, taking notes, and figuring out what goes into what.
Nice.
But it's kind of a cool world, you get to. It opens up creativity to things.
Plus, you look cool if you do it right.
Yeah. It's always kind of fun to have the.
And that's what's important.
And they do the pop at the end to open it. That's cool.
Hey, you got to do the little cocktail. Maybe not to that level, but little spin here and there. A little. How you doing?
But,
just to exude a little confidence. But, let me give you. So we had the rundown. So it is 7:15. Let's go ahead and take a look at your weather. I guess it could be windy day because they got wind advisory and red flag warnings and all that today. So yeah, sorry about that. But here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some very gusty wind as high as 50 miles per hour today. We have a strong low moving just off to our north. We won't see any rain with that, but the wind will stay gusty. We'll have some clouds early, but sunshine this afternoon. Overnight will be clear and very windy. Our low in the upper 40s, and then not as windy on Tuesday and Wednesday with low to mid 80s and sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 59 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 16%. Winds currently out of the west at 9 miles per hour. We do have a wind advisory from noon today. That's tomorrow, the 16th. For today, we have a red flag warning. That's from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. The wind advisory is tomorrow from noon until midnight. For today, expect patchy blowing dust for this afternoon. Partly cloudy, early, gradually becoming sunny for the day. Expect highs near 87, so it's going to be warm. Winds will be blowing out of the southwest 5 to 15 early, 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour later today, hence the red flag warning. Patchy blowing dust this evening till about 9 p.m. Then skies will be clear with an overnight low of 49 degrees. Winds will remain windy out of the west, 25 to 35. Gusting as high as 50 miles per hour, winds dropping down 15 to 25 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, we do have the wind advisory from noon to midnight tomorrow. Sunny and 84. Winds will be out of the west, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 50. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, still warm, sunny, 88 for a high. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny skies. Expect highs near 90. Friday, mostly sunny, 80 for a high. And then Friday night into Saturday, there's rain chances, 20% chance of rain Friday night, 54 for an overnight low. Saturday, we're looking at a 20% chance of rain with a high of only 70, and 20% Saturday night, overnight low of 48. So we'll see how that all shapes up. Got a few days between now and then. All right, 7:17, we're going to take a 3-minute break, get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten, and then we'll play our interview we had with Dr. Sean Powell from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. That's on the other side. Don't go away.
Good morning. This is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good April run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings, and young to short-term pairs and bred cows. We expect to sell 1,400 head, breaking down like this: 175 to 200 weighing cows and bulls, 150, 175 pairs of bred cows, 1,050 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 5 Hereford bulls, excellent quality commercial Hereford bulls. They are tricked and fertility tested, ready to turn out. These bulls are 2 to 3 years old. 29 bred cows, Mr. John Berry, Fort Stockton, Texas. Excellent quality black Brangus cows and good flesh, bred to Angus or Hereford bulls, 7 to 10 years old. 14 bred cows, Mr. Joby Morris, Lake Arthur, New Mexico. Excellent quality English crossbred cows, bred to black or red Angus bulls, 6 to 10 years old. 14 bred cows, Bruton Ranch, San Antonio, New Mexico. Good quality Charolais crossbred cows, bred to Charolais bulls. These cows 2 to 9 years old. 111 calves, the Cordova Ranch, Los Lunas, New Mexico. Excellent quality Hereford calves, 1 round of shots, thin to medium condition, 300, 550 pounds. 43 heifer yearlings, the H-Bar Y Ranch down at Carlsbad. Excellent quality black Angus and Brangus crossbred heifers, good flesh, right off fields, kind of cow makers, 750, 850 pounds. 20 heifer calves off the same ranch. These cattle wean 70 days, 2 rounds of shots, 450, 550 pounds. 55 calves and light yearlings, Guadalupe Mountain Farm, Sierra Blanca, Texas. Excellent quality black to black white face Angus crossbreds, 1 round of shots, 450, 650 pounds. 70 calves, the Welty Ranch, Winston, New Mexico. Excellent quality black to black white face, red white face crossbred calves, thin to medium condition, 400, 650 pounds. 30 calves, Mr. Rankin Lindsay, Membres, New Mexico. Excellent quality black to black white face Angus crossbreds, 1 round of shots, 400, 600 pounds. And 23 calves, Randy Barker, Del City, Texas. Excellent quality black and red white face crossbred calves, cattle wean 40 days, shots, 450, 550 pounds. Sale time this morning be 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 10 to 10:30. Be selling calves and yearlings about 11 to 11:30. We expect to sell 1,400 head today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Are you or a loved one having a hard time getting to your medical appointments? At Artesia General Hospital, we believe that transportation should never be a barrier to good health. That's why we're excited to announce our new non-emergency medical transportation services. Each of our vans is wheelchair accessible, and our friendly certified drivers go the extra mile by meeting you at your doorstep and ensuring a comfortable ride to your Artesia General Hospital services. Rides are available Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Schedule your ride today by visiting artesiageneral.com/transportation or calling 575-736-8211.
The Clovis Music Festival is back from April 18th through the 20th, and it's bigger than ever. 3 epic nights of bands and entertainment await you at the Curry County Event Center. Starting Thursday at 7 p.m., immerse yourself in the Pink Floyd Laser Spectacular. Followed up Friday night at 7 with Mickey and the Motorcars. Followed by country sensation Kip Moore. Don't miss Bowling for Soup Saturday at 7 p.m., followed by the legendary Gin Blossoms. Secure your tickets now at clovismusicfestival.com/tickets and be part of the excitement. The Clovis Music Festival 2024, brought to you in part by the City of Clovis Lodgers Tax. Don't miss out on the music event of the year.
Believe it or not, your home insurance company isn't evil. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here. A lot of roofers make your insurance company out to be your enemy. They'll talk about fighting and battling your insurance to get you the claim you deserve. But honestly, your insurance company is a group of people just like you and me. That's why we don't treat your roof insurance claim like we're going to war. We treat it like a court case. We provide your insurance company every piece of evidence needed to get you the highest possible claim. We submit photos, videos, detailed documents, and line-by-line estimates. And guess what? Our non-combat approach works. On 92% of roof insurance claims, we get the highest amount the first time. And the rare times we don't, well then, that's when we go to bat for you. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The University of New Mexico offers affordable, top-tier education year after year. The New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship and free application for student aid may provide funding to pay for school. Apply to UNM and learn more about the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship at admissions.unm.edu.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:23. Real quick here before we start our interview and everything. I just got word, and it's now popping up on Facebook, and so everything's okay, but just in case you're hearing and everything, apparently there was an incident at Pecos Elementary this morning. From what reports are saying, a man entered the school and pointed a gun at a teacher. But he's hurt. Police are on the scene. I think they're state, county, and everybody's there handling business. Everything's good. And obviously the school's on lockdown at the moment while they're sorting everything out. But from everything I've seen online and everything there, incident's good. Nobody's hurt. Everybody's fine. But there was an incident there, and so plan accordingly. I imagine parents at the school are getting notified and everything is what's going on appropriate if there's any measures to be taken here. But just wanted to let you know that that's going on there right now. But no, everybody's fine. Don't panic. Because I know what happens, because I'd be the same way. Your kid, your school, what's going on? But that's what's going on right now. So if you've heard something or see cars and everything over there and cop cars, that's what's going on there. So, but all good. It is 24, and joining us now officially in studio from Eastern New Mexico University here in Roswell, we have Dr. Sean Powell back with us. Good morning, Dr. Powell. Something you mentioned, and I'm gonna, he was, and we were having our conversation earlier about, and going famous and all that kind of stuff.
This is just a transition.
Yeah.
A transition.
And you're right. We missed one of the biggest transitions there, and it was Jesse the Body Ventura from the 80s. And because one could argue of all the 80s wrestlers, he probably pushed the envelope the farthest. I mean, he was a governor.
Right.
He acted with Arnold in a couple, in Predator, but I think he did one or two other movies in there while he was, in his acting career. And he went from and he was always a pretty boy type in wrestling too. Jesse the Body. He was a heel, a bad guy most of the time, but he always had that pretty boy look to him, the flamboyanty kind of, the body. That was his whole thing. So, but yeah, so you're absolutely right, Dr. Powell. That was we botched that one.
I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole and talk about the Freebirds and being on Highlander and all of that as well, but back to the campus.
I think we just found a secret wrestling mark here. Dr. Powell. But for folks not familiar, Dr. Powell joins us each month and keeps us up to date on what's happening out at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. And of course, now's probably a pretty busy time. We just wrapped up spring breaks and now starting to look at finals and all that stuff here. So we're kind of getting into that time of the year for the campus.
Absolutely, and looking forward to graduation on May 10th. Enrollment is open for the summer and fall semesters right now, and as most people know, the earlier you register, the more opportunities and choices you'll have. If you wait till later, those classes may be full.
Yeah, like if you want to go take summer class, right now is the time to come. I know you're like, it's April, and trust me. Especially because the summer schedule is also a smaller class schedule than the fall and spring, so classes will fill up a little quick because there's fewer of them. But if you need a particular class to get your credit hours towards your degree or whatever your plan is, you're going to have to sign up earlier because other people are signing. So that's what Dr. Powell's talking about. Don't wait. Sure, we're going to do everything we can to get you, if you sign up a day before the semester starts. But it's so much easier when you do it a month or two out.
Right, absolutely.
It's so much less. That way you can, especially if you're taking your first semester campus, the learning curve. You got to get the lay of the land. You got to create a routine. You got to get familiar with the campus and all that kind of stuff. So allow yourself time to do that kind of thing.
And I would just say also, people need to be aware of the opportunity and lottery scholarships here in New Mexico. The legislature and governor have been very supportive of higher education. Mm-hmm. They have created these 2 scholarships that pay tuition and fees, both at the 2-year campuses and now the 4-year campuses as well. So there's lots of opportunities for scholarships.
I bet we live in a world now that if you have a desire to go to college, we can find money for you, regardless of your background, how old you are, what you're going to do. There is a scholarship somewhere out there that we can probably turn. So as I say, every single time we're talking about Eastern New Mexico University, the moment you're done with the registering for either your classes or enrolling into the university, your next move is to walk right into that financial aid office, get your FAFSA forms and all that put together and taken care of, because that's kind of like for military folks, it's your DD-214 of financial aid is your driver's license to the world of financial aid. So once you have that FAFSA form filled out, that's your ticket into the world of your scholarship. So they'll help you get that filled out, and then let the financial aid folks in their office. This is what they do. They go in and turn over stones and look for scholarships for folks. And so they're pretty good at it. So turn them loose for you.
and absolutely. One of the things that you mentioned, I wanted to talk about just a little bit. So in the our youngest student, I believe, is 14 now, and our oldest is getting ready to turn 77. And the 77-year-old is going to graduate in May. He is a Vietnam-era veteran and was aviation maintenance.
Nice.
If this is sounding familiar a little bit.
Yep, I've been there, done that, got that T-shirt.
and A&P mechanic for 50 years, and he is completing his associate's degree through that credit for prior learning we have. If they have the A&P license, it's the general ed classes they have to take, and he's taking his last class right now and scheduled to graduate in about a month.
Good for him. So, is he retired, or is he going to go work right now?
No. He's 77.
Yeah.
And so this was a thing that he had wanted to do for a long time, personal goal. And the interesting part, we had a conversation with the youngest and oldest student about a month ago, and we put them together, and we had these questions that we asked them. And his drive was because of his grandchildren going on to college and
being an inspiration for them.
Well, he didn't tell them.
Oh.
And so we're hoping that in about a month we'll have a surprise celebration for him.
So are they
his
going to walk the
family.
stage together?
Well, he's out of state.
Okay.
And so we're going to try to figure out a virtual graduation ceremony for him.
How cool is that?
But this is a fellow who had been out working, again, major airline companies around the world.
Sure. Made his living for probably 40 years doing that.
Yeah, worked forever out in the aviation maintenance field. And he just didn't want to tell anybody because and this is the part we talked about, he was afraid that he wouldn't finish. And the interesting thing is he had a brochure from our program, or from our aviation maintenance program, which has been around more than 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
He had a brochure from 2002.
So he was really like building himself up to do this over the years.
Yeah.
It sounds like good for him that he finally pulled the trigger and now he's going to graduate with a degree.
Yeah,
Good for him.
20 years later, after he got that brochure, he's enrolled in
and
classes.
his grandkids, even if they don't see it today, that's gonna, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're gonna that's gonna sit with them. Like even if the full vibe hits them now, when they're 20 years from now, they're probably going, oh my gosh, what an amazing thing my grandfather did. You know, how cool is that?
But going back to returning adults, you know, folks that have left school or started some college, we have all kinds of opportunities for career technical education training, or if you want to get an associate's, get the general education classes out of the way. Whatever your goal is, we can work with you.
Absolutely. You know, when that's the thing when we talk about, you know, opportunities through the university and just life in general, when you want to make your life better, the only person who can really do that is you. You've got to, and this gentleman is kind of a shining example of that. You know, at the end of the day, he's not doing this because he needs money or earns a living. He's been there, done that. He's doing this to say, you know what, this is a task that I myself wanted for myself, and I put roadblocks in it myself. And he hit a point. You said, no, I'm gonna. And maybe his grandchildren looking at him and say, you know what, they're going through this. If they can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? And so for that man to never give up, and he's a true inspiration on that. And I hope there's other people, whether you're 16 or 616, take that message and say, you know, yeah, that guy went to school. I could do that. I could take a ceramics class. I could, and you don't have to dive in tomorrow and say, I'm going to go earn a master's degree, but you could say, you know what, let's start with one class. Let's find, you know, especially for retirees or folks that are looking for more to do in their life, and ways to involved and to be active. Take a class, take an interest, take something that you're interested in. Maybe you love history, but you take a history class. Go up, sign up for a class. You don't have to do it to earn a degree. You can do it just for your own personal gain or your own enjoyment. You know, if that's, you know, certainly the whole physical education department's full of folks that, you know, they're just looking for a place to be active, and you know, they're not pursuing a degree per se for that. There's lots of take a class. Hey, I've always wanted to do aerobics. Okay, we'll take it to class here and do it with students and learn, and it's the college is, that's what this college is for. It's not just to crank out leaders. That is a part of it and what it does, but it's also a community university there for whatever needs. If you want to go down there and, hey, I've got an idea for a business. Okay, there's people you can talk to down there. I got an idea I just want to get out and meet some people and have a social life. We got some stuff that can help you do that. Right. I've got some needs in my life. I've got financial and some other needs, and I could use some help with some. We got people that can help you do that on the campus.
Right.
You know, that's the campus is truly a community-based campus meant for everyone in the community, not just students that graduate high school and are planning to go on to college. It's way more than that.
Absolutely. And a few things that you mentioned, I did want to just say to individuals who are entrepreneurs or want to start a business, we do have a small business development center on campus. Scott Booker is there with Carolyn Harris, and they can help.
We've actually talked to them. Been on the radio. We got to get them back on the schedule. We've got another thing, and I can't remember if we did it or not. We got to get that on the schedule. So I just got to get a hold of Scott to do that.
So
note to self.
So he's available, and then I think one of the other things I wanted to mention, because I wasn't here last month with you, is appreciation to our local legislators and to the governor for the support of our campus. We did very well through the legislative session. Also, Debbie Lee and the folks at the Council of Governments here locally helped us through that session process. We're headed to Santa Fe tomorrow for a capital outlay committee meeting to get approval to move forward with our nurse expansion program.
Ooh, nice.
There's an RFP out for that project right now. It's published on Sunday in our local paper here in the Roswell Daily Record.
Yeah.
And it's going to change the clinic into a more nursing program space. They had 96 students arrive for orientation in January. So that's for between the 2-year classes. And so we're looking at trying to build that up a little bit more as well.
So that's kind of, I was kind of asking at the end of this for the expansion here, is it to allow to have more students, or is it to allow more curriculum, or both?
So I would say it's both. The primary goal, though, is to increase the number of students. And as you said, the campus is really there to meet student and community needs and statewide needs. As we know, there's a shortage of nurses statewide and so,
nationwide.
Right. And so we're looking at trying to meet that need with this nurse expansion program. And again, legislation from this past session is going to be used through general funds to support that nursing expansion program.
Yeah. And that's something that, Eastern's always had a reputation for as an excellent nursing program and one of the best in the state. And this is, and I'm guessing part of what you're experiencing is a problem, a good problem to have, and a problem of kind of a problem that is arisen from the quality of what it is. And it's a good quality program, and when good quality programs get out, people gravitate towards that. And when that happens, then the resources get to, we got more people, we got more, and so I think in the nursing side, that's kind of what Eastern's going through. Is it's a problem of its own success. It has to get bigger and better.
Right. Well, and the nursing faculty, the director of nursing, Tori Norris, and our interim dean of health sciences, Eric Mann, they're working very hard to ensure they're meeting all of those needs. But just most recently, I think the last 3 reports I've seen on the quarterly assessment evaluations for the nursing exam, we've had 100% pass rate on the first try with the students.
That's great.
Who have graduated.
Well, that's a testament to the staff and true the students too, because because of the limitations on how many students you can have and things like that, it does, it's a little bit of competitive to get into the nursing program, in case you haven't heard.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing, because you also see the results you're talking about. It when you do create competition, sometimes it definitely, I'm not saying weeds out, but it kind of weeds out the people that really want to do this versus maybe I'll dip a toe in nursing, and turns out it's not for them. To get into this point, you kind of have to make up your mind that this is the direction I want to go in. You know what I mean? And so but to see what you're talking about, 100% pass rates on that proves that the people that are signing up and the people that are doing it, 100% dedicated in doing that. And I'm going to guess there's some pretty good nurses that are going out a year, and East Loveless and various other medical facilities here are very appreciative of it.
Well, we appreciate the support of Loveless and Eastern Medical Center for the programs in health science. They have been tremendous in how they help us with clinical placements or supervision of the students as they go through their rotations.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and that's also the other testament to the quality of the product. When you got businesses clamoring, hey, any kids graduating yet? Hey.
Right.
That's a good sign.
Absolutely. And also the other clinics in Roswell and Chavez County that are helping us with the different placements, whether it's nursing or respiratory therapy, occupational therapy assistant program, the EMS program, medical assisting. So we have a variety of options that are available for individuals to come and really get a skill that can set them on a great career path.
Absolutely. And those could be stepping stones too. Like if you're like kind of on the fence about nursing, you're like, I want to, get health care, but do I really want to know if I can do the job?
Right.
Maybe study for the radiation tech or one of these other medical career fields that aren't, the commitment of an RN. And from there, and I imagine a lot that happens all the time, where you get X-ray techs and various other that have been working in the industry for a little bit. You know what? I'm going to go back and get my nursing degree now and pursue that. But that gives you that chance to find out if the medical career is truly something you want to. That's what your niche is, or what you like doing. And maybe, nursing might be a little too hard or stringent way to find out if that's where you like it. Maybe be a phlebotomist or be a X-ray tech or one of these other quality, where you're getting training and getting quality, and that translates to anything, outside. That's a good thing, in case you turned out you didn't like blood. But that's another option too. And again, talk to the advisors and counselors at the college. Say, hey, yeah, I think I want to do someday. I want to be a nurse, but I don't know if it's right for me. Maybe I ought to try one of these other careers and say, hey, let's start with some of the lead-ins and lead up to that. So the college, and then when you're ready, come back to the college, like, you're an X-ray tech, you got this, great, let's get you in the nursing program.
Sure, and we also have that nurse assistance program that's also got tremendous shortages, and so
absolutely,
again, we just try to look at those community needs and build our programs around what we think is going to best help the community and state
absolutely
meet the labor force needs.
And that's kind of something that is, and I'm sure you see it at some level with major stuff, but not to the level that you see it. And here, you're partnering with the community, and you guys have just as close relationship with the RASD and like you said, Loveless, and even like your Crumlin Auto Groups and other businesses that get qualified individuals that come out of this campus trained to work in these businesses. So it's a great partnership that you guys have established and worked and groomed over the years, and obviously the other sides have done their parts too to come in. There's just for instance, when thanks to people voting on these bonds, D's and C's, you had a major renovation of the automotive side of things, and it's now fully done. But for a couple of years, it was a little, where do we still got classes. Crumlin's in, hey, we've got our facilities, come use us. We'll train, we'll work together, we'll partner while the quote unquote garage is getting rebuilt at the campus, So there's always those kinds of things going on, and that's where Eastern is really that great community partner, and vice versa can be a partner for whatever your goals and dreams.
Absolutely. Well, and you mentioned something very important to the campus is that community involvement, and we appreciate the support of all the businesses and industries. We have a meeting later this morning with one of our maintenance repair organizations at the Air Center to help set up scholarships and internships for the students in the AMT program. And
that's kind of unique side Eastern gets to enjoy, that many colleges of this level, having that maintenance and that side off the whole curriculum. You probably wouldn't find at a campus or college of equal levels as Eastern New Mexico University.
Right. I think there's two in the state. One is at Central New Mexico, and then on our campus here at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. So, I mean, you really have unique things that can, prepare you for the future. For that, take you literally, in your backyard, south of you, or depending on where you live, maybe it's just north of you, but you know what I mean.
Right.
It's so take advantage of it. Summer classes start here in a couple months. Now's the time. Fall. When can you start registering for fall? Is that now?
Fall is now.
Fall
too.
as well. I didn't know if sometimes you had to wait till May to do that, or
summer and fall are both.
Excellent. So if you want to start, if you're thinking, well, I'm not going summer, but I'm going to roll in the fall, start full load in the fall. It's not too early to get registered today. Go out there, get registered. You could start. You'd have a lot of time to start kind of getting the lay of the land, maybe setting up your scholarships, start seeing your class plan. There's a lot you can do before you walk into a classroom day one in the fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get them and explore the social side of the campus. And that's something that I would even offer students more of. That's the one, like if you look at universities, that's one area where a college like Eastern has to work a little harder. Whereas, if it's a 4-year university, people are living there 24/7, then you're creating a life, by default. People live there. There's going to be people playing Frisbee and interacting in the field, in the yards and what have you. That's just how it is. Right. Whereas there is some people that do live on campus. There is availability for that there.
There is,
but for the most part, it is a to college. Either it's virtually or you live in a house and you drive into the campus. And sometimes that takes away from the social side of things. If you're like, oh no, I'm just going to camp, especially for balancing work and a family and time to hang out and play Frisbee or whatever, or do social thing is not in the radar. But all I'm saying is, if you got a few times, come out to some of these events. I know they have public events all the time where we're hanging out in the student union, just having pizza and get a laptop. There's stuff like that always on the campus.
Right.
I'm not saying go to everyone because your life's busy, but plan a few of those. Come out and have lunch. Come see the other buildings on the campus that aren't the ones your classes are in. Come. Right. If you need resources, if you need tutoring help, if you need financial help, if you're having trouble navigating life, there are resources on campus, and they're available to all, whether you're taking one class or you're going for your bachelor's degree.
Absolutely.
They're there for you to utilize and take. That's what they don't want any hurdles to get in the way for your success there. If money's a hurdle, all right, let's find resources to help that. If food and live support is what you need, let's find the resources to help you do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
and you're absolutely right. We've been working hard to make campus a space for individuals who can come and spend time between classes. We have the Learning Resource has a lot of support, whether it's math lab, English lab, tutoring in different subjects that are available. We also have tables set up. We have the food pantry that's there if people need to take advantage of that. So there's a lot of work going on campus, and I appreciate bringing that up. One thing I did want to mention is we do have an art gala coming up this Thursday.
Cool.
So that'll be at 6 o'clock in the ITC Commons. And so if people want to come out and take advantage of the art gala, that would be great.
Is it some of the students' art, or is it someone doing a hosting event? Or
so it'll be a little bit of a combination this year. This will be the second art gala. Been here. Bailey Call and the art committee working really hard to make that happen. They're going to have one of the professional artists who has been dedicated to art in public places.
Gotcha.
And so we have many new pieces on campus that are going to be highlighted. We did this in November of 22 was our first art gala, and the Roswell Symphony Orchestra, I think, is going to be involved with a quartet or
add a little class
group
to the event.
Yes, and KNW, I believe, is going to be filming, so we'll have quite an event this coming Thursday.
Good deal. So they get the PBS folks and everybody out there.
Absolutely,
cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So that's Thursday. What time? That's at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
The ITC
building. Commons area, right?
And so come and like you said, so it sounds like what you do is you got the featured artists, and so they're the ones for you. Oh, come see. But then you're like, oh, why are you here? Come check out some of our local artists' work and some of our students and what they're doing.
Right, and the students, I think, are going to be selling some of their artwork.
Good deal.
For a fundraiser to have the art club raise some money.
Before they turn into the next Picassos and Van Goghs out there.
That's right. That's right.
I got them before they got famous.
Yeah. And I think there'll be a couple of silent auctions on a couple of pieces, maybe more, of pretty good artists who've been out in the field for quite a while. And so these are professional artists, not the students, but the students' artwork is great too. So I just say, if you have time Thursday, please come out to campus and check
Well, you're
out
seeing
what
the
we're doing.
generations of it. You're seeing the people doing it today, and you're seeing the next generation that want to do this too.
Right.
And so, but that's the beauty of art. Whether they do it professionally or they do it as a pastime because their day job is a CEO or whatever.
Right.
That's the beauty of art. You can do it if you want to.
Right. Right.
And if you're one of the lucky enough to make a living out of it, then good for you.
Right.
But cool. Come out and see some great art. Maybe you're looking to add some decor to your home. And go out and pick up a painting.
Sure.
Support the artists and support the kids too.
Right.
Good deal. What else we got? Anything else we want to?
No, I think just again, registration is ongoing for the summer and fall. I would encourage you to come out and check out an appointment with an academic advisor. And like you said, I think coming to campus, looking at the building, seeing what support services are available now. We're in the process of hiring, I want to say, an agricultural judging coach. That's the way I'll put it, with an intention of having a livestock or meats judging team or some livestock judging team or agricultural team in the fall. And I know Andrea Stapp and Edna Yoakum have been working very hard. Andrea is our agricultural instructor.
Yeah.
And then Edna is coming to us, and she's the interim dean of arts and sciences. So they've been working very hard to have a greenhouse put in that, again, is supported by our legislators. We're looking at putting an air rifle, air pistol range in, and so having that available for students in 4-H so they can transition to the college.
And of course, Andrew knows about it. She has a little bit of background there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We feel very, very fortunate for all of the faculty and staff that we have on campus.
Absolutely. So again, more resources, more opportunities, more things for you and your family to come be a part of the Eastern University. And I know this is a question, it might be a month or two out, but as far as pool in May and all that, how's it looking for that?
The pool will be open. We're still trying to figure out all the operational details.
Okay.
We're having some work done on it now.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, because I know they've been doing a lot of work and renovations and things. I know, is it going to be, are we good for a May open maybe?
As far as I know, that's
okay.
That's
good.
the plan
More to
right
come,
now.
But
more,
as of right
more
now,
to come. And
everything's on schedule.
We'll send you a text or something so you can get the word out.
It
but
is
I
construction, and you know how construction works.
Yeah,
I
think
you're trying to watch to it. You're going to find it in trouble.
and so I thought I'd have this opportunity, but just going to a little bit of the roots, growing up in Oklahoma. So in closing, I would just want to use something that Danny Williams, who was an announcer there for Mid-South Wrestling, he would always say, "Watch out for flying chairs."
Hey, Sean, next time you have WrestleMania, invite Dr. Powell. I think he's going to be a big fan. Well, thank you, Dr. Powell, as always, and great to have you, and we'll see you next time, okay? And holler if you need anything.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Off the top rope, Dr. Powell. All right. 8:52. Get you up to date with news and your Chaves County Sports Update quick break as well. Don't go away.
ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Get ready for a week jam-packed with all sorts of fun for the whole family. The 2024 Roswell Spectacular Carnival, April 25th through May 5th at the Wool Bowl in Roswell. It all kicks off on April 25th with fun for the whole family from 6 to 10. Then on Saturday, April 27th, the day kicks off with a car show beginning check-in at 8 a.m., plus live entertainment, vendors, and raffles throughout the day. Then Saturday afternoon, don't miss the Build Your Own Pinewood Derby presented by Cub Scout packs throughout Chavez County, with prizes for speed as well as people's choice, overall design, creativity, and originality. Check-in is at 2, and the race begins at 3. Then on Saturday, May 4th, celebrate Cinco de Mayo with piñata breaking at 1, a taco and jalapeno competition at 3, and a salsa and chili contest with entertainment beginning at 2. Proceeds from this event to benefit Moms Loving Hope. The 2024 Roswell Spectacular Carnival, April 25th through May 5th at the Wool Bowl in Roswell.
The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop invites you to move on in and check out the fantastic selection of threads, fabrics, and patterns. Take advantage of a huge sale on Brother sewing machines. If you just want to tune up on your own machine, bring it on over for in-house maintenance. And with free lessons at the Calico Cow, you can learn from some of the absolute best. Let's keep the tradition and art of sewing going. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell, right behind Farley's. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
To plant or not to plant? That is the question. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Our tomato plants and pepper plants are ready to go. If you plant them now, you might have homegrown tomatoes and peppers before anyone else. Or a frost might kill them. As Clint Eastwood would say, do you feel lucky? You'll either be the smartest gardener in the county or you'll get to replant them all over again. I say go for it. You'll get more practice and we'll get more business. This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, and I apologize to William Shakespeare.
Attention high school students and parents of high school students. Do you want to visit Eastern New Mexico University from the comfort of your own home? Then plan on attending the ENMU Virtual Open House on Saturday, April 20th, starting at 10 a.m. You can get a virtual tour of campus, talk virtually with current students, and win great prizes. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump is in a New York courtroom this morning as jury selection gets underway for his criminal trial.
This is the first criminal trial of a former American president, so it's of course a historic moment, but it's worth noting this is not the first time that Donald Trump has been in court or has been forced to juggle competing roles of a defendant and a presidential candidate. We've seen that repeatedly now in New York, where he's been in court in connection with various civil proceedings.
As correspondent Eric Tucker, Mr. Trump accused of falsifying business records for allegedly covering up $130,000 paid to a woman as part of a non-disclosure agreement during the 2016 presidential campaign. Now, Mr. Trump insists he did nothing wrong. He says this is part of a Democrat drive to keep him tied up in court and off the campaign trail. What will Israel do next? That is the question following Saturday's Iranian drone and missile attack.
The UN Security Council met in an emergency meeting following attacks. Israel called for sanctions on Iran and reiterated its right to a response. Iran's ambassador to the UN told the meeting that its actions, which were in retaliation for a deadly airstrike on its consulate in Syria, were justified. Amid rising tensions, the attacks have received widespread international condemnation. Now, world leaders are pressing for de-escalation in a bid for calm in the region. All eyes are on Israel and how it responds.
That's the BBC's Yolanda Nell. The FBI is reportedly conducting a criminal investigation into the deadly collapse of Baltimore's Key Bridge, brought down when it was hit by a container ship. We lost 2 heroes tonight. The words of the Syracuse, New York police chief. A shooting last night left 2 lawmen dead, along with the gunman who shot them. On Wall Street, stocks higher. The Dow is up 319 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain health. And now, by a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The war in Sudan has devastated the country, pushing its people to the brink of famine. Now, top diplomats and aid groups are meeting in Paris, trying to drum up humanitarian support for Sudan.
It's hard to grasp the sheer scale of the numbers that catalog the catastrophe in Sudan. 25 million people need humanitarian assistance. That's half the population. 18 million face acute hunger, layers of crisis compounded by ongoing fighting, lack of access for aid, and not nearly enough of it. The conference in Paris aims to boost humanitarian efforts, and the U.S. recently renewed a push for ceasefire talks, but without success so far. The warring parties have carved up the country in their struggle for power. Both sides are accused of war crimes.
The BBC's Barbara Plett-Usher. Australian police examining why a lone attacker who fatally stabbed 6 people in a Sydney shopping mall targeted women. News and analysis, townhall.com. An election this month in Pittsburgh emerging as an early test of whether Israel's war with Hamas poses political threats to progressive Democrats in Congress who have criticized the conflict.
First-term Representative Summer Lee is facing a primary challenge from Bhavini Patel, a municipal councilwoman. Lee has accused Israel of committing war crimes, called for a ceasefire, and demanded an end to U.S. military aid to Israel. That's veered from the stand taken by President Biden and most Democrats when it comes to the war. If Lee is defeated in the April 23rd contest, she'd be the first Democrat incumbent to lose a primary this year. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
Scotty Scheffler is a Masters champ again for the second time in 3 years, and he is the 4th youngest player to have 2 green jackets. And Scheffler stretches his lead at number 1 in the world to levels that we haven't seen since the peak years of Tiger Woods. Scheffler now has 3 wins in his last 4 starts. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
They call it the deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yes.
Hope your weekend was well.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Hope it was all that everyone wanted it to be.
Yeah. Hopefully the weekend going well. And
it did go by very, very quickly, though.
It did.
It just flew.
Yeah. Friday seemed to be like, all of a sudden, next thing you know, it was Sunday night. Like, what happened?
I did have something kind of pop up last night that it triggered a series of memories for me. This is, again, probably you're a little too old for this, but kids of like the early 90s might remember this. There was a whole generation of kids that used to walk around with necklaces, not necklaces, but like pens that you could hang around your neck.
Pins?
Pens.
Oh,
Or
pens.
markers. Like,
Okay.
like writing pens or markers.
Okay, all right.
And the reason for that was because of a PBS show called Ghost Rider.
Okay. Yeah, I missed all that.
Yeah, it was a show that was huge among my generation. But there was a whole like subset of kids that would walk around with like pens because we would write messages, to like our group or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the Ghost Rider thing. The whole thing was it was this disembodied ghost that could only read. It couldn't hear what you said, but if you wrote something down, it could communicate, and it was a whole thing. But I found the entire series on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
So I just started like rewatching it like just on a whim last night, and that's what triggered that whole set of memories. Like me and like several of my friends used to walk around with necklaces with pens hanging from them. It was like a whole
Did you ever
style
actually
choice.
write or do anything with it, or you
Not
just
really.
carry a pen around?
Not really. Like one of us would have like the invisible ink pen, and the other one would have like the revealer pens. You could see what they wrote. That kind of stuff.
So what would was this earmarked for like elementary age kids, middle school?
It was meant for it was like a mystery thing, but
Okay.
for like elementary schoolers essentially.
All right.
But I'll say the first like mystery that they're solving essentially, it was legit kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like there was a series of kids getting their backpacks stolen, and come to find out it's these dudes who like hang out in an alley and they wear like these masks that are on both the front and the back of their faces. So they have these like weird like it was, as a kid, it gave me legit like nightmares. Yeah.
But you're thinking like they did all this just to get backpacks from
Yeah,
kids
just
in
to
the
steal
alley?
kids' backpacks for their lunch money, essentially, because they would find the backpacks, all their stuff would still be in it, and they would all their money would be missing.
Yes.
They were running a very, very low end racket.
Evil syndicate.
We're gonna get like $2.50 every time.
That's right. And we got 12 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
What's the exact opposite of grand theft?
Yeah, but that's kid world problems.
It was an interesting watch because I got like 3 deep before I was like, okay, I think I'm done with this for the night. I'm tired.
It doesn't hold up.
At a moment, it did kind of, just because like you remember like lines from the show and you're like, oh, that triggered like a whole set of memories. But then after a while, you're like, well, I have for 45 minutes been a man in my late 30s watching a children's show by myself.
Is there at any point did you want to introduce this to your kids?
I don't know. I feel like it might be too scary for Rhiannon. Hunter might dig it, but then again, it might be too low quality for him. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
likes,
high techy.
Yeah, he likes a little CG in his stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how kids think like that. Like when I was young, their age. And if you saw something in black and white, you were kind of like, "Oh, that's for my parents."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Watch
I wonder what like that version for them today.
I gotta imagine it's anything that's grainy,
anything on TV.
But I will say there was a good period of like a year, maybe a year and a half, when Rhiannon, when she was about 5 or 4, like 4 to 6, she was very into Lamb Chop's Play Along.
Okay,
which was a show I watched when I was a kid.
Sure.
And
Generations.
She loved the songs and all that, and there was a real quick window where she was into a show that I liked as a kid. So I was kind of able to kind of share that with her for a minute, but then she moved on to other things, and I was done with it.
Okay,
so, it happens. You try to. I was gonna say you try to like instill your shows and stuff on your kids. It's basically indoctrinating my children with the programming I watched.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like my parents, it seemed like my parents didn't have cool things like I had when I was a kid, as far as shows go. I mean, they had a couple.
Yeah, there were.
But like, I feel like we had it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like kids today go back and look at our stuff and would think it's cool. But I know it's probably because there's some other, but I don't know. Like the cartoons that were relevant when we were kids, I feel like a kid could watch today and be into, but maybe not.
To a point, yes. Like, okay, well, again, this is kind of also a generational thing between you and I. Right now, one of the biggest trending shows across any of the streaming platforms is the new reboot of X-Men, the X-Men 97.
Okay.
Which was done in that old style that they did the X-Men series when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That cel-shaded animation, but it's done CG, but with that cel-shade style.
Right.
And it's gotten a lot of really good reviews on how true to form it is, how accurate it was, and they even brought back many of the same voice cast they had in the original.
Right.
For this reboot. So I feel like there's a certain generation that it works. I feel like going back to like your generation with like He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe,
Transformers.
You can ask my mom, I was crazy into Thundercats when I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
I loved Thundercats. But those shows, going back to like, going back to that era, it's sort of like it had that effect. But some of the animation, I don't think necessarily stood the test of time. Like it'd be hard pressed to sell G.I. Joe of the 80s to kids today. When it was like 20 frames per second, it wasn't as fluid animation.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. And then again, I could watch it now and look and probably feel different about it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I didn't think about stuff like that when I was a kid. I didn't think about frame rates or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's a cartoon that it's about stuff I'm into, and that's kind of I don't know. Like Gumby. Gumby was kind of a little before my time, but I remember growing up watching old Gumby episodes.
That's what my mom tried to share with me.
Yeah.
Where she was like, she would try to bestow it upon me. But, it worked for a minute. I was sort of into the Gumby and I had a little Gumby and a little Pokey, and which sounds a lot dirtier than it is, trust me. But, I had both of those little, characters,
but
it just sort of didn't translate the same way.
I mean, I didn't love it like G.I. Joe, but I was like, oh, 3:00 Gumby's on. I guess we'll watch Gumby. Then again, there was 3 channels, at this time. And, I also watched the old, was it George Reeves Superman back in the day before Gumby? The old, you know what I'm talking about? The old black and white Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. That one.
I will say when I was a kid and I saw animation in black and white, that did stop me for a second. Like if it was black and white but a cartoon, I was like, okay, I'll check it.
But most of the time it was Disney, so I kind of you're on it, because anything Disney put out when you're a kid, you're about it. Even if it was Steamboat Willie, you're still kind of all right. Just like okay now, and this is I don't have kids, so I'm a little out of touch. Can they even show like the Tom and Jerry cartoons from the 80s, or are those pretty much been blackballed?
No, I mean, it depends. Like those cartoons are still out there, and a lot of those are actually fair use for the most part.
Oh, really?
Like RKO was the company that owned them, and they didn't get picked up, or they just kind of went.
And I say 80s, that's when I watched them. They were actually 60s.
But we're talking like your Yogi Bears, your Woody Woodpeckers. A lot of those, like that genre of cartoons, they kind of exist in this gray area. Tom and Jerry's the same way, because like 3 different companies, did a Tom and Jerry thing.
Yeah.
Ayana checking in the chat that she had a Pokey too. Good. So it did translate, not as a grown up nasty joke, but
Pony Pal Pokey, you got a heart. Gumby's a part of you.
Oh, now we're gonna break out themes. I see. But yeah, no, it was those exist in kind of a legal gray area where they kind of several companies have a piece of them. But like the Warner cartoons, for example, like I got my daughter pretty heavily and Hunter a little bit, but he kind of got bored. But Rhiannon was starting to get into Looney Tunes with me, and then they pulled him completely off Max. They pulled the entire Looney Tunes library off of Max, and that was heartbreaking. I was like, I don't have anything to share with her anymore. Yeah.
They never brought it back.
Zaslav and his cost-cutting measures.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to guess when it comes to numbers and everything that people actually watching it's probably very low download numbers because, the people that care probably don't do that stuff.
Well, yeah, but...
You know what I mean?
That was one of those things where, you could put on like a bunch of them in the background while you were cleaning or doing something else, playing with your kids. And every now and again, an episode would pop up. You're like, "Oh, that's a great one."
Yeah.
And you bring the kids in, show them this one. But there was a few. Like I would just leave it on, just stream, just let it run nonstop. And then like Rabbit of Seville would come on. Rabbit of Seville to this day is my favorite Looney Tunes cartoon. I can like sing almost all the songs in the entirety of the cartoon. And it came on one day, and I called the kids. And I was like, "You guys have to watch this." And I was annoying singing along with them, and it was a moment. But then they took all that away. Just doggone it! You don't know whose heart you're playing with here is David Zaslav.
Hence the reason why there's a sect of kids still going back into VHS tapes and stuff and DVDs. They're all like, "I got it here now."
Anytime you had like a Bugs Bunny that sounded weird or was
Yeah.
wearing yellow gloves versus white gloves,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones you find in the bargain bins. But those were the ones I grew up with because those were the videos that my mom would get.
But isn't that like a research now where they're wanting to buy these
They're
things?
starting to
and
come back, yeah.
Well, and that makes sense to me because I don't get the owning a digital copy of something.
You don't. Well, okay.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around that.
I'm not a fan of it. I like owning physical media.
Yeah.
It bothers me when you go and you spend $60 on a video game and they give you a download code.
Right.
It's like, no, you could take that away from me at any given time.
But even like when you buy digital copies of movies, you only own it as long as you own that digital service.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Like if you
Or-
dump that service, then you don't own that movie
Even
anymore.
worse, as long as they own the copyright or as long as they own the rights to it.
Yeah.
So if, say, for example, you spent a ton of money on like 3 seasons of South Park and all of a sudden South Park goes to, now they're on another service, you just lost all those purchases.
See, that's
it's
to me,
thin air.
that doesn't seem.
Yeah, you need some kind of certificate of ownership.
Yeah.
If that is
Whereas
going to be the route we're going to
You
go.
go to Walmart or wherever and buy your $5 DVD, no one can take that away from you.
One of the most infuriating things I've ever experienced. I can't remember what game it was. It might have been like one of the old WWE 2K games. You open the container and there's a piece of cardboard shaped like a CD with the download code and QR code. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, that was unnecessary.
Yeah, that feels even wasteful packaging.
Yeah. Now, I mean, yes, now I own that box, but I don't
That I
own
can't do anything with.
that would have gone in that box.
Yeah, that's all. That's our guest here.
He is.
Very good. Very good. Elliot Rodriguez with Lone Depot going to join us here in just a few. And yeah, I don't get that whole. That's why I kind of like I live in the computer. I play my computer games, and and I've bought some. But yeah, in theory, that platform goes away. I don't own it anymore.
I got to say the other day that I proudly I own a copy of a movie that's next to impossible to find because it's not on any of the streamers because it's a Weinstein Brothers movie. Mallrats.
Oh, yeah.
I have the deluxe DVD.
Yeah, certain Kevin Smith movies are very hard to get
because of the Weinstein connection. Yep.
Dogma's another one.
Dogma was next to
almost
impossible
to get.
Here's a pro tip: for as long as they keep it up, you can currently watch Dogma in its entirety for free on YouTube.
Really?
Yep. Just search Dogma on YouTube. It's up there in its entirety. If you don't have premium, it's got commercials, but otherwise, totally free.
That's a good movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'm curious how much it holds up.
Well,
I haven't seen it literally in 20 years, I don't think.
I still believe in Alanis Morissette. And
I trust me. Going back in my head, everything makes me laugh.
Yeah.
You know.
It is funny that the one thing that has stood the test of time throughout those entire movies is Buddy Christ.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole concept of George Carlin as a bishop just blows me away.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, people that are fans and grew up knowing George Carlin, and then to see him in the role of the bishop in the Buddy Christ thing is really.
It's right up there.
It's really a chef's kiss.
It's right up there with what's his name? The Roastmaster General.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Him popping up as the Moyle in Ricky's Tanicki.
Yes.
That was just one of those, you can't cast that better.
Right.
That was perfect.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, now I kind of want to go see that movie.
Yep.
I'll go look on YouTube.
Have to go find it.
It is 8:21. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather and get a moo burger.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some very gusty wind as high as 50 miles per hour today. We have a strong low moving just off to our north. We won't see any rain with that, but the wind will stay gusty. We'll have some clouds early, but sunshine this afternoon. Overnight will be clear and very windy. Our low in the upper 40s, and then not as windy on Tuesday and Wednesday with low to mid 80s and sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 57 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 17%. Winds currently out of the the south at 6 miles per hour. We do have a red flag. Actually, now they're saying wind advisory from noon until midnight tonight. We also have a red flag warning today until 9 p.m. That kicks in at 11. They're expecting patchy blowing dust for the afternoon. Partly cloudy this morning, gradually sunny for later in the day. High of 87, so it's going to be warm, but the winds will be blowing out of the southwest, 10 to 20 early, increasing 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour later today. Tonight, patchy blowing dust before 9 a.m. Skies will be clear otherwise with an overnight low of 49 degrees. Winds will remain windy out of the west, 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. Winds drop down 15 to 25 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, sunny and 84. Winds will be breezy out of the west, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies, overnight low of 50. West winds 5 to 15. Wednesday, sunny and 88. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 90 for a high. Friday, back down to sunny and 80, and then rain chances Friday night and Saturday. 20% chances of rain. A little cooler on Saturday, too. 70 for a high there. So we'll see how that all shapes up as the week progresses. All right, 8:23. We're going to take about a 3-minute break, and then we will talk with Elliot Rodriguez from Lone Depot on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I've heard it said, speaking my mind is easy, speaking it tactfully, not so much. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Proverbs 15:15 says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare. Sometimes my greatest accomplishment is keeping my mouth shut. There are times when we argue that it would be easy to lash out. So I have a choice to make. I can either feed the fire or quench it with my words.
Julie and I have learned there's going to be arguments, but we've learned to fight and argue, not to be right, but to get the situation right.
So the next time you're in an argument, try saying something kind from a genuine heart to bring peace in your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
At New Mexico Gas Company, we believe there's money hiding in your home. It's true. It's hiding in your insulation, in your water heater, and in your furnace. And New Mexico Gas Company can help you tap into that money with rebates up to $800 for high-efficiency natural gas improvements. Your energy costs will go down, and your wallet will thank you. We're New Mexico Gas Company, and we provide energy efficiency solutions to save you money. That's why we're here. Learn more at nmgcgetrebates.com.
The Roswell Symphony Orchestra proudly presents Pines of Rome, Saturday, April 27th, 7:30 p.m. at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell, featuring guest soloist Ariel Horowitz. You're invited to the pre-concert event at 6 p.m. at the Daniels Leadership Center, featuring special guest Dr. Jim Shearer. Tickets and more information at roswellsymphony.org or call 575-623-5882. Sponsored by Sarah and Robert Armstrong, New Mexico Arts, Pioneer Bank, Pepsi, and KOBR TV8. Ad paid for by Roswell Lodgers Tax.
The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop invites you to move on in and check out the fantastic selection of threads, fabrics, and patterns. Take advantage of a huge sale on Brother Sewing Machines. If you just want a tune-up on your own machine, bring it on over for in-house maintenance. And with free lessons at the Calico Cow, you can learn from some of the absolute best. Let's keep the tradition and art of sewing going. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell, right behind Farley's. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
The University of New Mexico. It's the state's flagship, a world-class university right here in Albuquerque. Apply for admission at UNM today at unm.edu. That's unm.edu. The University of New Mexico is the university for opportunity.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Lone Depot, Elliot Rodriguez back with us. Good morning, Elliot.
Good morning, Roswell.
How are you doing today?
We're doing good. It's beautiful outside. It's not windy. At least not yet.
Yeah, give it time, but at the moment, pretty nice out there.
The allergies are a little in control, so I like that.
Yeah, enjoy while you got it.
Exactly.
So it all turns to pot here later today. But for folks not familiar, Elliot pops in for a visit each month, and we talk home buying experience. If he's the man that you talk to procure your finances for your home, whether So really, if you're out in the market to purchase a home, whether it's your first home or 50th home, Elliot's the guy you need to talk to before you start picking out houses and everything with a real estate agent. That way, when you're done talking to Elliot, you know exactly how much money that you've got a ballpark to play with and do all that. So then you see the real estate agent say, I want a house worth $200,000 because I've already talked to Elliot, and that's where my sweet spot is. So let's find a house in that ballpark. That's what he does.
And I'll tell you, you can't do 200. You have to do 199.
Yes. But and of course, Elliot really kind of has a special soft spot for really working with first-time buyers, things like that. That's something that he's always kind of take pride in helping first-time families navigate through that home buying experience and making it a positive experience for them. So when it's time to upgrade or change, then they come talk to Elliot again.
It might be a positive experience for them, but it's a very interesting one for me. No, I love helping people buying houses. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
you know, and
it's the American dream.
Oh, it's the American dream. Let's be honest.
Exactly what it is.
I mean, if you go back to any story, anything like that, what is the idea? Okay, having a home with a white picket fence. Okay,
that's right.
You know, and that's not being racist, guys. It just happens to be
the
white
foundation.
fence.
It's the American dream. They want the picket fence, the 2.5 kids,
yeah,
the
job,
dog, the whole.
A dog and a family. I mean,
that's what you want. And wherever your dreams are, it starts because you have a foundation, a base, and it's usually that house, that place where is your base, your center of operations.
I never thought in my life that I actually will be a loan, guy, to buy mortgages and so on. And it's the funniest thing, but I remember selling vacuum cleaners, okay, and I was doing very well, I'd probably still be doing the same thing, but the door-to-door knocking, that kind of got a little old after doing it for almost
and to be honest,
a whole decade.
It's not the way the world does business anymore.
No, I would have had to switch and change really fast.
You knock on people's doors nowadays. Most people give you dirty looks, or you get a gun to the face, or something happens.
Call 911 and like, I got a guy wearing some black trench coat.
Keeps dumping dirt on my carpet.
I remember knocking doors after Columbine, Colorado happened.
Yeah,
and I was actually wearing black long coat. I was like, oh, that's not a good thing.
Right, yeah. If I don't get shot today, I'll be lucky. Yeah.
No, it's been interesting. This year has been an up and down, roller coaster when it comes to rates and all that kind of stuff. They may get a little worse before it gets better.
Sure.
We were not truly anticipating what's happening with the 10-year bonds and all that kind of stuff. And let's be honest, when power and the government start making those comments and what is happening.
Sure.
I mean, look at what happened through the weekend now, too. I mean, it's just one thing after the other.
We're on the cusp of World War III here.
Exactly.
And people that control the purse strings tend to pay attention to things like that.
All over here down in the ground's the ones that pay the price, folks. So keep an eye on all those things. Don't worry about what's happening in the market if you're going to buy a house. If you need to buy a house. If you got that itch and say, you know what, I'm done renting, which I believe, there's nothing wrong by it, but you're throwing your money away at the same time.
Sure.
I used to be a landlord, for God's sake, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this. Yeah, I made a lot of money out of people renting my places.
If you need to rent, for a certain amount of time, there's always a place for it. But you do have to understand when you're renting, you are paying for someone else's dream, not yours.
I know. I feel bad when somebody comes and tell me, I've been renting for 15, 20 years. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
You should have bought a house a long time ago, for God's sake.
You're investing in someone else, not yourself.
No, the market is going to be what it is, folks. So don't be afraid of that. There's still programs out there that help you for the few that don't have much money in the bank. And even if you have a little money in the bank, it doesn't mean you cannot use those programs either.
Sure.
Okay? I'm not here for you to be broke, when you buy a house. If anything, if I can help you, you're going to, I will advise you in some of those programs. In that way, when you close, you still have money on your pocket.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because let's be honest, I mean, things are tough lately, okay? Now, don't be afraid of that. If you want to buy a house, we're still here for you to take care of you. We will adjust to the times of whatever is happening,
sure.
Okay? And folks, we're still not the highest as ever it's been. It's just higher, okay? And it may just be costing a little more. But in the end of the day, folks, don't be afraid of what's happening in the market, because in the end, it's all about if you can afford a home or not, okay? if you can afford a home now, no matter what the market is, that means later on when the market gets a little better, because guys, it will. Okay, how fast can it be happen in 6 months? Can it happen in 1 year? We don't know that.
Sure.
We estimate and we forecast things, but the fact is, we cannot control the future of
A
what's
lot
happening.
of variables.
There's
there.
a lot of things that happen, but at least we can keep an eye on what's happening.
But if you look at the big picture history, what comes
It's
up.
gonna happen.
Yeah, what comes up must come down. What comes down must
seen
go
it.
up.
We've seen
It's
it.
just it's what happens.
And I keep saying it, folks, I had a 9.5 interest rate back in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, that is literally just 21 years ago. Okay,
And we went really from some of the lowest rates in history to some of the higher, like overnight with COVID and all that.
Yeah, it went kind of fast.
I mean, people were really enjoying 3% interest rates.
Dude, I have somebody that told me I have a 2.75. It's like, you have a what again? All right.
Yeah.
It's like,
and,
damn.
And that's and the get was so good, and now when we're looking, it's like what is it now? 7% or whatever at 8%.
It's from anywhere from 6.5
Yeah.
or 6.25, depending on the program, all the way to 8.5, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
If you're a repeating buyer or what is going on, or if you have bad credit, folks, don't worry about that. A lot of people's like, oh my God, no, I'm not buying a house because the interest rate is 7.5 or whatever. It's like the reality in the end of the day, from a 6.5 to 8.5, it may be just a few $100s or so a month. Okay, so it really depends on the amount of the home that you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how expensive it is. Let's be realistic. Let's say somebody's buying a home that's like $150,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they can get an MFA. That's New Mexico Authority. First time home buying program. So right now, today, folks, is 6.25 at this very moment.
Okay.
Okay, we don't dictate that interest rate. The state of New Mexico does. So sometimes when they're going up, I say they're not making sense, but I think they're just behind on the curve. Okay, and they are just
correcting.
Correcting as best as they can. But at this moment, that is the best deal you can get right now. So if you qualify for first-time home buying, it doesn't matter if you have a little money on the bank or not. That's okay. Take advantage of it. You don't want to get the second mortgage to be able to get the down payment. You got your own money. Guess what? You don't even need to get it, but at least you could get the interest rate, and you don't have to buy a bunch of points. And folks, points is whatever your interest rate is today, and this is completely 100% different for each individual. Okay, so keep this in mind. So if your friend tell me, oh, but I got this before, that's a long time ago. Whatever they got, okay, it's whatever is today that we had to look into it. But at the same time, right now, if you were to do a regular FHA or a conventional, it don't matter if you have the greatest credit score in the world. Even if you're buying first time or it's the second time that you're buying a home, it's gonna change. It's gonna be different. So if you can get for example, a 6.7, okay, at a regular mortgage, you're still gonna pay points for that interest rate. If you want to go lower, you're gonna pay a little more extra. If you want to go higher because you don't have enough and it's costing too much, your interest rate will go a little higher, but it will cost you a little less as well. So in the end of the day, right now in the market, unless you have yourself in a very great position, it means you put in 20% down or you got a very good credit score. Even at a 7.5 to 8.5, you may be paying some points or you may not be paying nothing. Okay, it depends on the program, the approach. There's so many
divorce change things.
There's something that went negative on your credit. It's like, what are you talking about? Now, if I would have known better, I would have told him to shove it because what I know now, that should not even matter at the time. But nevertheless,
a lesson learned at the time.
I didn't know. The guy asked me to put more money down, folks. So when they called me, I thought they were talking about something else, and I found out they were talking about the house that I was actually building. My ex-wife messed up my credit and made it worse for me. I didn't know any better how to deal with it at the time, but I deal with it. Okay, so I would just went and work harder.
Sure.
Have some extra money, put the money down,
but
still build my house.
Hindsight being 20/20, you have different advice for yourself now.
No kidding. Yeah. I would have told that guy, shove it. What are you talking about? You already have me approved. What are you saying? Anyway, folks, if a lender is telling you need more money, and they're not telling you why, okay, there's something very wrong.
Sure.
Okay. And a lot of people, but what are you talking? That happens to people all the time. No, it doesn't happen to my customers. Okay. I've been doing this for a long time. And even when I started, I still had not done that to my customer from that day to today. The fact of the matter is, your lender should know if you pre-approve and what program. Do things happen? Yes, you can adjust, but your lender has to tell you what is going on.
Sure.
If you don't know why you're not qualifying for something, we have a big problem, because every customer of mine in the past that have not qualified for a program or whatever,
You know exactly what's
we
going on.
don't go to them and telling them you cannot buy a house. I tell them in the very beginning if they can or not, and then I tell them what to do so they can actually be able to.
Once this, and this are met, then this will change.
Be there so it can grow and can push you guys in a better position.
Sure.
You know, and I do that for everybody.
And life changes. What
Yeah.
you want today may not be the same thing 5
Exactly.
years from now. And,
Mhm.
and you know, life changes. And that's, again, getting back to the beginning here, this is why Elliot does what he does.
Mhm.
He you know, he wants you basically being a customer for life. So
Mhm.
whatever life moments happen, whether the family increases or decreases or you move or, you know,
Mhm.
life happens and you need to replant those roots, then Elliot wants to help
Now,
you get
on
that
the
process.
other side of that quarter, you know, that's true what I'm saying. But there's are cases that there's things that come up that clients, or should I say consumers, didn't tell your lender. Okay, if you're working with your lender and you're not telling everything your lender, obviously the lender's gonna find out. Okay,
Sure. It's kind of
Trust
like
me.
your attorney.
Yeah.
You tell them everything and don't let them find out, because if you tell them, then they can mitigate it before it gets worse. A couple months and it's gone.
Let me tell you something. I have deals that I fix it through the whole entire problem.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to think outside the box and you have to be quick on the moment, because sometimes you could refinance something and fix it because something else pop up and now your
Sure.
numbers change to the point that you're about to lose your house.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have that problem that much, but it happens once in a while.
Well,
okay?
and most
It
time when
happens.
it does happen, it's because people weren't on top of their finances, whether it's unintentionally or intentionally.
Mhm.
That's generally, it's the surprise. Oops, I didn't realize I didn't pay that thing off. Or I didn't, you know, and I'm not, you know, I get it, because I'm not one of those people either that's meticulous down to the dime. It's like, I had a soda, I need to annotate, I spent 50 cents on soda. I'm not one of those people. But at the same time, I kind of know what's not out there, and I'm like, no, that's not. I'm not going to have a surprise. I owe $10 to so and so because, you know, I'm on top of it.
Now, also,
But-
for those employers that are out there right now listening, and you have somebody buying a house and the lender is requesting some verification, please help your employee or your ex-employee.
Yeah.
Don't be so harsh because maybe you part in bad terms.
Yeah.
They're trying to buy a house. They're just normal people. Because it's been tough, dude. I had never seen it in my life.
Yeah.
Only in this area is the hardest to verify employment for people.
People aren't trusting.
It's
Yeah,
like, what's going on? You know, can you please say, yes, he worked for me to this time. I get it. All of us are
Sure.
busy. I understand that. But just take a few minutes and help somebody buy
Absolutely.
their house. And please verify their employment. Please.
Yes, you're not spilling their tea on them and doing the secrets on them. You are trying.
Just say, yes, he worked here from
Yeah.
this day to this day. That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know.
Well, you and I dealt with that like in the military world when you need like security clearances
Oh,
and they
my
start
God.
hunting down your family and friends for that. It's the same kind of deal. You know, it's like, who are these people just asking weird questions about this guy? You know?
Oh, hey, people,
Yeah.
employers get bent out of shape because we're asking them for verification of somebody that left them. It's like, it's nothing bad, please.
Yep.
Your company's not even in liability at all against
Yeah,
it.
we're verifying what the person said he did is doing. You know,
I
That's
know
all we're
it's
doing.
funny as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens, guys.
Absolutely. So, but yes, if you do get the phone call and
Please
it's 'cause
help that guy.
they're just trying to
Help us.
verify they employed there so they can prove that they're qualified for this loan or not qualified for this loan. But just all the time, so we probably, of course, if you're ready to buy a home, and like I said, before you talk to real estate agents, before you talk to
Definitely.
anyone that's dealing with the buying and selling of a house, you need to make sure your finances are in order. Unless you have a big briefcase full of cash that you're going to pay cash for a home with, which that's like nobody. You're probably going to need to see a guy like Elliot and procure the financing. So, Loan Depots get the best of both worlds. We've talked about it every month here, where Loan Depot is really started as a grassroots company that was kind of ticked off at all the crap that goes on in the loan world and said, we can do this better.
We can do better.
And that's what they've been doing. And now they're, if not the largest, one of the largest lending institutions in the nation. And it's the best of both worlds, where Elliot's right up the street if you need him. But if you need the big time service that a company of its size can offer, he's got all of that in his back pocket for you. So don't hesitate to reach out and call or set up an appointment with Elliot. You can call direct on his cell. That's area code 719-237-5680, 237-4680, 719 area code. You can also call the main office, 505-445-2070. Leave a voicemail if
that comes to me.
Yeah. You can also go online. You can visit his website, which is www.loandepot.com/Elliot Rodriguez. Spell Elliot with one L, E-L-I-O-T, Rodriguez with a Z at the end. And you can go to loandepot.com/Elliot Rodriguez, or shoot an email, ElliotRodriguez@loandepot.com, and he'll get back to you as soon as he can.
Put a number on that email if you do.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of weird stuff out there. So I get some very weird emails sometimes. It's like, is this a real person?
Right. Especially in your world, I imagine there's a lot of people slipping things in there.
We have some problems earlier this year, and we don't want that again.
But if you go to the Elliot Rodriguez, loandepot.com/Elliot Rodriguez, you can kind of read all about Elliot and his history. Of course, learn about Loan Depot's history, and then really read all about the services and everything and help you navigate through.
Look me up on Facebook. Mike and I have been doing this 5 years plus now.
For a while
Jesus
now.
Christ.
Yeah.
And all those videos are in there.
They're there.
All of them.
And it's just us telling you basically just be smart about this stuff.
A couple times we're repeating ourselves, so there's extra stuff. But, we've been doing the things for a while. And I post most of my closing, whatever I'm allowed to. Yeah. And I put a lot of information in there, and that speaks for itself. You can see it yourself.
Yeah, it's no big secret. It's just good information. And when you're ready to buy a home, reach out, and I guarantee something that you're going to be worried about is going to be much better by giving Elliot a call and letting him help you navigate.
Yeah. If you want a lender that goes the extra mile and take care of you like a person, not a number, I'm your guy.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'll take care of everybody. Doesn't matter how big or small the loan is.
And if you are a person that does this every day, Ellie can help you too. He can help you.
You'll make my life easier.
That's right. Pull your heads together and see what genius work you can come up with here. So, good deal. Well, Elliot, as always, appreciate the visit.
Thank you for having me.
Don't work too hard. We'll see you next time here.
Sounds good.
Excellent. It is 8:57. Quick break before news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. We'll be right back.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Sorello. Roswell police are investigating a deadly crash that took place Friday morning on South Washington Avenue. A statement from RPD says the crash happened about 2 in the morning when a 2003 Ford F-250 pickup truck was headed south on Washington. But for some reason, the driver lost control at a high rate of speed near the bridge just south of Summit Street. The pickup left the roadway, struck a utility pole near Rancho Road. The truck, though, continued south and passed 4 homes while still off the road. It then came back onto the roadway and flipped over at least once, coming to rest upside down. The driver, 21-year-old Logan Dale Kennard, the only person in the truck, was thrown out and was killed. A gruesome discovery on a backcountry trail at Carlsbad Caverns National Park on Thursday. The Eddy County Sheriff says human skeletal remains were found on Friday evening on the Yucca Canyon Trail in a very remote area of the park. At this point, there's no evidence to connect the remains to any active missing persons cases, and the remains have not yet been positively ID'd. The trail has since reopened. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. What you're about to hear will totally blow your mind.
It's the grand reopening at the all-new Roswell Ford. The all-new Roswell Ford has new management and a whole new attitude.
I interrupt this commercial for more breaking news.
Attention car buyers. The all-new Roswell Ford needs your trade, and we need them now. So there's never been a better time to trade and upgrade to a new Ford or quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV for less. Making payments on your current vehicle and you want out early? Even if your current car is rusted, busted, and can't be trusted, Roswell Ford wants to spring you out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Worried about payment or interest rate? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with more lenders that can help with all types of credit with rates as low as 0% for 66 months. Get pre-approved today at RoswellFord.com. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or visit us online at RoswellFord.com. $15.15 per thousand financed on select models with approved credit.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News is coming up next. Don't forget, next hour we're going to have Tori Hornick with the UFO Skate Bash folks join us, give us an update on the skate park and all. They've got actually quite a few updates going on here. So we'll get all that next hour. It is 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We will be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. As Israel's war cabinet deliberates, an anxious world awaits Israel's response to Iranian aggression. In the wake of Iran's missile and drone attacks on Israel this weekend, U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will be voting in the coming days on an emergency aid package for Israel. On the Salem News program This Week on the Hill, Johnson warned that bipartisan support for Israel is critical at this moment in history.
This is an alarming thing. It's a dangerous thing. The reason we stand with Israel, for us, it's a matter of faith, but it's also a matter of geopolitical stability. They're the only democracy in the Middle East. If the world ever sees that we lack that resolve, they will come with all guns blazing, literally so, against Israel. It's a dangerous, dangerous situation right now. We cannot show a lack of resolve.
Speaker Johnson conferred with President Biden and other congressional leaders Sunday as the world awaits Israel's response. Israeli officials say the lion's share of the Iranian drones and missiles were shot down with the help of an international coalition whose partners include the U.S. Jury selection getting underway this morning in Manhattan in the first of Donald Trump's 4 criminal prosecutions.
The New York case is centered on accusations that Trump sought to bury stories about extramarital affairs that arose during his 2016 presidential run. Indictments in this case made Trump the first ex-president charged with a crime. The trial gets underway despite repeated attempts by Trump lawyers to delay the trial and remove the judge. The former president, who denies any wrongdoing, has complained that he should be on the campaign trail, not in a courtroom. Greg Clugston, the White House.
They're running the world-famous Boston Marathon today. Earlier, officials pausing for a ceremony to mark the 11th anniversary of the bombing that killed 3 people and wounded hundreds. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 63 points, the NASDAQ down 22. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
German Chancellor Scholz is in China. It's a 3-day visit. Trade between the 2 countries, a top agenda item.
This has led the German government to push for a policy of de-risking to reduce reliance on the Chinese market and suppliers. Nevertheless, China remained Germany's top trading partner for the 8th straight year in 2023, with $271 billion in goods and services. After a visit in Shanghai, Scholz will end his 3-day visit in Beijing, where he will meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Correspondent Karen Chama says this is Scholz's second trip to China since he became chancellor in late 2021. Lightning and heavy rains have killed at least 36 people, mostly farmers, across Pakistan the past few days. Authorities have declared a state of emergency in southwestern Baluchistan province. A spokesman for the Emergency Management Agency says most of the deaths occurred when lightning struck farmers who were harvesting wheat. Townhall.com. It's a major move for the Lakota Nation.
A Native American-led nonprofit has purchased 40 acres of land in South Dakota's Black Hills area. The Cheyenne River Youth Project says it bought the land. The executive director of the project says the area is considered, quote, one of the most sacred places for the Lakota Nation. Some tribes in the U.S., Canada, and Australia have gotten their rights to ancestral lands restored in recent years with the growth of the Land Back movement. Jason Walker reporting.
Well, today is tax deadline day, and the Internal Revenue Service promoting the customer service improvements the agency says it has rolled out since getting tens of billions of dollars in new funding through the Democrat so-called Inflation Reduction Act. Once again on Wall Street, the Dow trading 69 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tracy Piernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Hope your Monday's going well.
Mm-hmm.
A warm one.
It's warm and windy.
Yeah, the wind's not here yet. It's supposed to.
It's what I've
get
come
here later.
What I've come to expect from springtime around Roswell way.
We do have red flag warnings and all that that are supposed to kick in about noon today. So. That's the plan, but yeah, it's supposed to be 80s, and I think we're supposed to hit like 90 like one day this week.
Really?
Like Thursday. I think it's supposed to be like 90. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Getting on up there.
And you know what's funny? Like over the weekend, it was warm yesterday. It was real nice. And but my house is cold, and I spent a lot of time in the house yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out a couple times to go do some things, and I'm just like, I legit wore my long sleeve tee all day because I was freezing in my house all day.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to turn it up because I
respect it.
I feel like the world's gonna end if I turn it up.
Yeah.
And so I sit there and freeze. But I was like,
I respect
really
that.
would like to
It's
be
honestly,
warmer.
you know what it is? I go through these moments where it's like, you're going to be so hot this summer. You're going to be so miserable this summer.
Yeah.
So you better enjoy the moments. I'll have my arm in front of my AC, and it's just freezing. Like, I can't feel it's numb.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm soaking it in now so that I can use it then or whatever. I don't know.
But I ain't gonna lie, part of me was like, I'm gonna go sit on the porch for a little bit and thaw out.
I do go. I've had that happen a couple of times where I'm like, I just need to go outside for a minute. So chilly in here. Woo.
And I didn't realize
That really is first world problems.
It
You're
is.
I'm so cold.
But part of me wants to wear long sleeve shirts. Still.
Mm-hmm.
I want to wear them. I just feel comfortable. I feel me in them.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love a long sleeve tee. It really does feel like, you're covering all the bits that you need that hurt.
Yeah.
That you don't want the public to see.
Yeah, and it never makes sense, but I always like the long sleeve tee and shorts.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the guys that do that?
Yeah.
And it's completely horrible logic, but I like the look and I get it because my arms get colder than my legs do.
Sure.
And I'm like,
if you have a loose enough armed long sleeve tee, you can always pull that move, pull it up to, and then you got the 3/4 tee.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, you can roll them up most of the time. At least all the ones I've bought are roll upable.
You could roll it up mid sleeve and make it, turn it into basically a baseball tee.
Well, and
segue.
Well, and like military, I lived in long sleeve. Your BDUs, you're in long sleeve. You can roll them up. But quite frankly, I had a job where I got to work and it comes off. Like the BDU shirt, I'm in a T-shirt and camo pants all day. That's usually my uniform of the day.
Mike was just picture Mike on the deck of an aircraft carrier in a dirty wife beater, just moving stuff.
Well, not aircraft carrier. It was
built like Jake Gyllenhaal in Roadhouse. just all the abs.
Have you watched that yet?
No, I keep going by it and I'm just like,
it's a good movie. I haven't been
compelled to watch it.
I watched it and an hour and 40 minutes later or whatever long that movie is, I was like, you know what? I was entertained. I enjoyed the movie. Is it Roadhouse from the 1980s? No. Is there hints of it? Yes.
Okay.
Like I noticed, like the Roadhouse bar is it's set up a little like the old school in the movie. They had, how they had the office upstairs. That's there. How they had the chain link fence around the bar, the band, and everything.
The stage.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is there's got to be these little homages. I bet if you go back and watch it again and look in the background, you're going to see a lot of the same kitschy stuff on the walls.
Yeah, and some of that it hits it, but it's a different story with the same vein, basically. A bouncer at a bar, and he cleans up a bar. It's and then there's an evil rich person trying to take it over for because they want to develop a real estate on it or something. That's the same spiel. It's just different. Dalton's a little less mysterious in this one.
Okay,
like because in all fairness, the Patrick Swayze Dalton, you don't know background on him other than I guess he just as a bouncer. He runs around. Whereas the Jake Gyllenhaal Dalton has a backstory. He's an MMA fighter.
Right.
He done killed somebody didn't want to, and so he's dealing with the mental health of that. Kind of, spoiler alert. That's kind of the premise of the movie.
Right. That makes sense though. Got to think about retired MMA fighters. What else are you going to do with your life?
Yeah.
Bounce at a bar or open up a used car lot.
Well, and then he's and I guess he's doing the side hustle MMA. That's how the beginning of the movie picks up is like the prize fight thing. Anybody can beat this guy, we'll take home $100, and then of course Jake Gyllenhaal and then takes the guy out. That's the premise. So that's kind of how they leave it. Like he's going from round around bouncing to town to earn his money, and then he gets hired to be the bouncer at the Double Deuce or whatever, or the Roadhouse.
Would you say he's a private bouncer, a bouncer for money? Do what you want him to do.
Yes, Tina Turner. Your private bouncer.
Bouncer for money.
Yeah, doing the Tina.
Old bouncing will do.
Yeah, just like that. But it's a good movie.
I'm gonna check it out at some point.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, it's probably one of those. It's like I'm gonna have to wait till the kids probably go back to mom's house.
Yeah, it's an R movie. I mean, it's a lot of violence, a lot of Colin McGregor's buttocks.
Yeah, no. The big debate this weekend was: are we gonna watch Wish? Probably gonna watch it this week. The new
Wish.
Disney,
Which
the
one?
new Disney movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm not excited about it. I don't care. I've heard good things, but it's like that's whatever.
And there's another movie that's on Max that I think I want to see, but I just haven't. The Wonka movie. The new Willy Wonka
I do want
movie.
to check that out because I am curious. I've seen, after watching that, I will have seen all 3 iterations cinematically of Wonka.
Yeah.
And still, you're hard pressed to, pass Gene Wilder.
The Gene Wilder
That's
version.
always going to be the one in my
and
one seat.
To be honest,
I hated the Johnny Depp reboot. I hated that movie. Wow. The songs, the fact that it was all the Oompa Loompas were just one dude. I hated that movie. I've gotten into arguments with people because they loved it. It was a part of their childhood, but I could not stand that movie.
And I personally, I don't like
sorry,
the
I'm not that
whole. His name just went right out of my head.
Who are we talking about? Timothy Chalamet?
No, Tim Burton.
Oh, Tim Burton. Okay.
I know this is going to get a little blasphemous. I'm not a fan of Tim Burton's works. Like Edward Scissorhands, like it's a little too out there for me.
I like the quirk. I loved Nightmare Before Christmas. I liked Coraline. I liked Edward Scissorhands. Now, the only problem I really ever had with Tim Burton stuff is why do you always have to use the same people?
Yeah.
That's what drives me nuts is you don't.
They all do that.
And I understand Coen brothers have their stable.
Yeah, they all do that.
And that's fine, but it's like expand it a little bit. I love Tim Burton's style.
Yeah.
But if he did that with, a few more like comedic actors and less like, guys you pick up from cologne commercials, I think that he could really do some really good stuff.
Yeah, it's just, and that to me, and Willy Wonka was already a foot in the weird anyway because of just the whole thing. And when Tim Burton gets a hold of it, it seems a little too LSD for me. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, that's a bit too out there.
By the way, it needs to be addressed that last week, I think it was, or week before, a lot of people were talking about the poster for the Howard the Duck reboot.
Is it bunk?
That's real.
Is it real?
That's real.
They're really going to do a Howard the Duck reboot?
They were talking about voice casting. I watched the thing about it. That's actually going to happen. So if you're a Howard the Duck fan,
is Spielberg
all
involved?
Two of you, I have no idea. I'd imagine he kind of has to be, but because it's his property,
well,
right?
It's a Marvel
It's
property.
a Marvel property, but he was the one who like handled the.
I don't think he owns the rights. I think you got to get it through Marvel. I think it's all Marvel.
I am going to go in without judgment because I have only ever seen the original one time, and it was when I was a kid, and I did not like it.
I don't like it, but I've seen it 20 times.
I didn't like
it when it was on HBO every day for and I saw it as a kid.
I didn't like it because now this is going to be a weird thing to say, but it is me, so that's expected. I didn't like it because I was such a fan of Baby Huey. Because Baby Huey was essentially Howard the Duck, but a baby.
Yeah.
I grew up watching the Baby Huey cartoons, and so Howard the Duck always felt like a grizzled adult version of Baby Huey.
He's a little more smart alecky than Baby Huey.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Baby Huey was a baby.
Yeah.
But it was at that weird time where I don't know why. I'm not sure why I'm built tribalistically, but I felt like I had to choose a side, and I chose the one in the diaper. As one is wont to do.
And my only reason I watched that movie, because as a young lad, I found anything Leah Thompson was in. I mean, whether it's Back to the Future or Wolverine's movie or Howard the Duck.
I understand.
What's the Wolverine? I just completely
It's
blanked
Red
on
Dawn.
It. Red Dawn, thank you.
I get it. There's certain ones that pop up where I'm like, I'm going to watch everything.
She was kind of the female lead in Howard the Duck. So, hence the reason I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
I think I saw it in the theater. Now that I think about it, I think me and my friends went and saw Howard the Duck in the theater.
So you got disappointed in full
and then
screen.
I saw it on HBO like 20 times afterwards. So I haven't seen the movie in 100 years, but I've seen the movie 100 times.
I would be intrigued to go back and watch it again, the original, and then watch this new one, like back to back, just to see how they stack up.
Can you even watch the original anywhere?
I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
I don't see it sit on platforms anywhere.
Yeah, but I don't think it's been fully Song of the South.
But I haven't looked for it either.
Right.
So,
I don't know if it's on Disney Plus, but
that's what I'm wondering if it's just sitting on Pluto somewhere, buried, or
it's under Pluto.
Well, generally when I find obscure movies, usually Pluto has it. Right. I'm like, what about that movie? And then, sure enough, there it is on Pluto.
Could be. Worth looking into.
Like, well, there was one movie I was talking about, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, there it was, and we watched it. It was something I was telling Kim, and I don't remember for the life of me what it was.
I paid money to rent the movie Rockstar the other day.
Oh, the one with Mark
Wahlberg vehicle, because the person I was with at the time had not seen it. So I'm like, well, that's blasphemy. You must now see this movie. And so I actually paid money out of my pocket to watch that movie.
Wow.
But
Mark Wahlberg, thank you.
Yes. Who's Mark Wahlberg? You're talking about, Mark Wahlberg. right, that guy.
Well, I went, we all die young, Mark Wahlberg.
So. And we all die. It's on Tubi.
Is it?
It's free on Tubi.
Oh, now don't you feel bad?
I kind of do.
I'm telling you, Tubi's a place to, like, when all else fails, check Tubi.
Yep, Howard the Duck right there on Tubi.
Is Howard the Duck there?
No, I wasn't talking about Rockstar.
Oh.
Rockstar I couldn't find anywhere.
Oh, okay. So, but
was
Howard the
just
Duck's on Tubi?
Yep. Free on Tubi.
Figured. We do have the folks from the UFO Escape Bash, Tori Casey, also as well, going to join us here. So we'll talk, get an update there in just a few minutes. But first, let's get you up to date on the weather. But wait, there's more.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Get ready for some very gusty wind as high as 50 miles per hour today. We have a strong low moving just off to our north. We won't see any rain with that, but the wind will stay gusty. We'll have some clouds early, but sunshine this afternoon. Overnight will be clear and very windy. Our low in the upper 40s, and then not as windy on Tuesday and Wednesday with low to mid 80s and sunshine. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 76 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 7%. Hence the reason for the red flag warning later today. Winds will be out of the southwest at around 12 miles per hour. We have a red flag warning that's going to kick in at 11 this morning, remaining in effect through 9 p.m. today. Expect patchy blowing dust for the afternoon. Sunny and 87. That's the good news. But winds will be out of the southwest 10 to 20 this morning, 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour later this afternoon. Tonight, patchy blowing dust before 9 p.m., otherwise clear skies with an overnight low of 49 degrees. Winds will be out of the west, 25 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. Winds will drop down 15 to 25 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, sunny and 84, breezy winds out of the west, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny and 88, northwest winds 5 to 15. Expecting to hit 90 on Thursday, sunny and 90. Then Friday, mostly sunny and 80. And then Friday night, Saturday, there's slight chances of rain. 20% Friday night, 20% on Saturday. High of only 70 on Saturday. So, but it will be 90 on Thursday, so it's kind of a big drop. So, math seems like a big drop. All right, 9:21. We're going to take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then we're going to get a skate park update. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winter.
Artesia General Hospital's family practice providers support the healthcare needs of every member in your family, no matter their age. With locations in Artesia and Carlsbad, our compassionate experts offer a full range of primary services and can help manage chronic conditions, treat illness and injury, and coordinate specialty care. Whether you need a medical provider for your entire family or are getting on track with your annual checkup, we're here for you. Reach out today at artesiageneral.com/family.
Wakefield Oil Express has the highest quality service in Roswell with a 17-point full-service oil change that includes a full wash and vacuum at their car wash. You won't find a better deal. They also offer full synthetic oil changes, fuel and cabin filter replacements, and will even check your battery. Their tunnel wash isn't afraid of dirty vehicles. They have the best value wash in town with free vacuums. They even offer wash passes that can be used for multiple vehicles. Next time you need your oil changed, go to the fast and efficient Wakefield Oil Express and let them earn your business. 3204 North Main, Roswell.
Hey, Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Trustmark is one of the only roofing companies that's also a licensed commercial and residential general contractor.
Wow.
I know, who cares, right? Well, you should care. You see, a licensed roofer can install a new roof on your home, but really can't handle structural problems underneath. So if your roof needs reframing or your chimney needs a water diverting cricket, you may need to call a licensed general contractor. And coordinating two companies for your roofing job can get costly and messy fast. As a licensed roofer and general contractor, Trustmark can install a stunning new roof on your home and handle structural issues. This saves you time, money, hassle, and even makes it easier to file an insurance claim. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit us at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The Clovis Music Festival is back from April 18th through the 20th, and it's bigger than ever. 3 epic nights of bands and entertainment await you at the Curry County Event Center. Starting Thursday at 7 p.m., immerse yourself in the Pink Floyd Laser Spectacular. Followed up Friday night at 7 with Mickey and the Motorcars, followed by country sensation Kip Moore. Don't miss Bowling for Soup Saturday at 7 p.m., followed by the legendary Gin Blossoms. Secure your tickets now at clovismusicfestival.com/tickets and be part of the excitement. The Clovis Music Festival 2024, brought to you in part by the City of Clovis Lodgers Tax. Don't miss out on the music event of the year.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the UFO Skate Collective, or if you're online, Skate Bash, whatever. We don't want to confuse people. It's the skate group here in Roswell. Of course, Tori back with us, and Casey as well. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How's life treating y'all guys?
Pretty great.
Good. Mm-hmm. Good. Life, of course. What's for folks that don't know what's going on. Of course, over the last year here, there's a big thing in the works to build a new skate park.
Correct.
And so that's the end game, is we're now in the planning and working with the city and the various entities to kind of get a plan put together and getting, turning this from a concept to an actual place where people can go and skate and do their thing. We have a skate park now that is servicing.
It is servicing, that is for sure.
But the end game here is to get a bigger facility where you can probably ultimately host skate competitions and do more official things out at the park here, kind of deal.
Yes, so actually, May 1st, we have our first it's our second public meeting, and it's going to be our first concept design, though. We're actually going to see what they have, drawn up for us, BHI and the city of Roswell, of course. And we do know it's going to be a 35,000 square feet skate park facility, and then on top of that, we'll have 15,800 square feet for the flat track, roller rink, hockey, whichever
so you
it might
play
be.
like roller hockey, or if you want to do
the roller derby.
Yeah, roller derby, or like
even
is there
disco skating?
I'm about to say, like there's figure skating for ice. Is there a sect of people that do that on rollerblades,
Yes.
or they kind of do ice dance, or not ice dance, but skate dancing?
Yeah, so they'll practice on rollers, blades in a sense, and so they'll use just a regular flat roller rink as well.
Okay.
And so that's what it would facilitate all of those type of.
So
needs.
they could train there, or we could maybe start some organized street hockey leagues, or youth adult. It's really for everybody.
And if anybody, and once these facilities are up, the whole reason we want to help any type of all wheels, all skills. So I'm like, if anybody who wants to start a hockey league, needs help, like they don't know how to spread the word and stuff like that, like we want to help any type of skater, like anybody on wheels, we want to help facilitate with what they need.
Whether you're on a skateboard or rollerblades or roller skates. Let me ask, what about the BMX folks? Are they part of the collective as well too?
Yeah.
Here?
So actually, our photographer, he's a good BMX rider, and he's an amazing photographer as well.
Good deal.
Yes.
And so they do they do more the bowl ramp stuff,
So
or is
they're
it the
more
flat trick flip? Or a little bit of everything.
So it's like 50-50, but I do know they are the BMX riders that have been asking for, they've been wanting more of a vert type of a vert setup for the skate park, just because you can go skate street anywhere, in the streets and stuff like that.
We got plenty of flat.
Yeah, so that's why there's been more of a need for the vert type of skating.
Place where they can go and work on the tricks and things.
Exactly.
Now, just curiosity, like you said, you're about to see what some of the renditions and things, as far as like some of what you're hoping to see. Is there, and Casey, this is probably more in your wheelhouse, like is there, I'm sure you're kind of eagerly waiting for the plans, but is there certain like aspects you're like, it's got to be in here or something? Is there certain things that you're like, this is something we as a community really need in there, that you're kind of like the one seed of thing you're excited most to see for this new park?
Honestly, just something for like new skaters to feel welcome
and
to bring in. I really want more girls to be like encouraged to skate.
Gotcha.
It's really
so
difficult.
broaden the genre to more people.
Yes. It's kind of difficult
sometimes I'm the only girl out there, and it's
well,
it's like,
and
oh
as
my
a
gosh.
man who's 50 and grew up, kind of in the heyday of your Tony Hawks and that kind of thing, it's a very dude-centric sport.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? You're right. These guys were all, in the early days, they're all surfers that kind of, found it as a way to train and do that, and the whole Lords of Dogtown stuff.
Yeah,
surf
skating.
Yeah. But that's dude-centric. That's very dude. So you're right. You're kind of breaking some of that, those ceilings, those glass ceilings a little bit here, and saying, you know what, girls are just as much into skating as guys are, and
Just about.
to be honest, I'm not sure if it's 50-50, but I gotta imagine whenever I like watch a video or watch something online, it's almost equal as many girls out there, skating and doing tricks as there guys out there.
Female skateboarding right now is actually the #1 growing sports demographic. Just unfortunately, not for Roswell, but in the whole, in the spectrum of sports, it is actually the #1 growing sport right now for females.
And I'm not trying to get got girls, guys are better at this and that, but it makes sense that because just the way the female body is built, like your center of balance and things, like women tend to be better at balance and those I think for skating that's probably I imagine there's probably tricks that just because of the female anatomy and how the body's built, that guys can't do because just the sense of balance and things like when you see some of the gymnastics, the balance beam, and some of the incorporating that into skating where dudes, that's they're more strength and what I mean, like guys gymnastics about the rings and strength, and it's the balance side is a little bit backseat for dudes, whereas skating, I mean, that's just as important as all the strength and other stuff.
Oh, for sure. I would honestly, I would say it's more of skating's such a mental game. It's such a mental game. I mean, it changes your mindset completely when you're out there skating. It's a scary sport. It's super scary. It's more, I would say.
Well, it's an adrenaline rush.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It's why people bungee jump or anything else.
Right.
I mean, skating doesn't have to go to that dangerous level, but you can ultimately make it that way.
Right.
If,
but it teaches you how to fall, too.
Oh, for sure. I think that's why more men really lean into skating, just because of the danger in
the
it.
X factor of danger to it, or the adrenaline.
When you see women skating, a lot of the time it's vert. A lot of the time
so bringing more of the art form of the sport into it, if that makes sense. Like the girls are bringing the art. And what I mean by that is that the interpretive side. Like I could easily see a skate routine turning into something like an interpretive ice dance if you wanted it
to.
And
they do those types of competitions where people spin around on their board, they jump off and on.
You do it to music and you're creating a routine, and why not? I think that'd be a cool thing. I'd love to see that.
They do have those types of competitions, and I think it's really cool. I think people need to realize how broad the sport of skating really is, and it's not just skateboards. It's again all wheels, all skills.
Absolutely, yeah, like speed skating and stuff. Like you watch Winter Olympics and you see some of the ice skating events and speed skating. You can do all that in roller too, and roller speed skating.
The roller skaters, they do all these crazy flips. They're upside down half the time, and that's where you were talking about the women and the physical physique and stuff.
Yeah.
I really think that's why they excel so much with the roller skating, is just because they're doing some crazy stuff. Even Geneva Martinez, I think, has shown you some of the stuff she does.
I'm saying they're pushing envelopes here.
Yeah.
Just face it, guys' bodies don't bend that way.
Mine doesn't bend that way either.
Exactly.
It's really cool though to watch, and I think too, once the girls realize in town that most of the stuff we're doing in the skate community is run by females right now.
Cool.
Of course, we have the guys, in the background helping us 100%. But it's mostly it's a lot of us women doing the advocating,
being more
coming out and
proactive
stuff.
about
going
out
we
and
just have
meeting
more time
people.
on our
have the
hands.
voice.
The guys are like, we'll be here if you need us.
And
But
they're
y'all go out and
100%.
make friends and come back and get us.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. Whenever I'm like, hey, we got a meeting, they show up. They're always there. And then, because even how you mentioned when you had asked Casey about what we're hoping to see at the skate park, a lot of people are wanting kidney bowls, some spines, and that's and it's all for everybody.
Sure.
And even round rails, because for some reason we only have one square 20-foot rail here, and it's just
and I imagine you want different levels of it. So you wanted some of the stuff that a beginner could enjoy and work on, but at the same time, someone who's been doing it for 10 years can also get on it. And so maybe there's some that are set up for your first timers. And if you want to get entry level, or it's not as high or not as long or it's not as, but then they can graduate to the bigger bowls, to the bigger rail, to the ones that are, you know, the like in skiing, the black diamond slopes. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
And we are, and that's one thing that was requested in the grant writing for the design is that we have beginner and advanced sections for each, you know, for vert and street, just because you know, especially when we're getting 35,000 square feet, you know, that's more than enough room for beginners and advanced people and all in between. Yeah. You know, and then on top of that, the roller rink, even though, you know, it's going to be a huge flat space, you could use it, you know, the skateboarders can also use it when, you know, is in there. You
Absolutely.
know, it's just skate etiquette.
Or I could even see it going into like using it from time to time, like old school, the roller rink or ice rinks where you have, hey, come open skate. Everyone pays $5 and they play
like
music.
A roller disco and stuff. That's what we were just talking about.
Why can't we do that? I mean, on a Saturday night one night, you know, coming out and maybe get a band playing. And
we do
someone
that.
out there doing food and stuff. You have a fun time. Yeah.
And we normally get bands for our events also, which that really, you know, it gets all the skaters pumped up when they hear the music going.
The music go hand in hand. You can't skate without the music in the background or BMX or any of that stuff.
100%.
Growing up in the days of Thrasher and all that, that was where one goes with the other. You know?
It definitely does. And then that's like what's also cool is because we get local bands even from Albuquerque that come down and stuff. And so we're not just helping, you know, the skate community. We're also helping just the locals or like the youth in general. That's kind of our whole goal because we even did like a farmer's skate market one time too. So all the skateboarders who are artists in a way, they came out with like had their own tables set up. Like we try to like help the skaters, you know, not just with skating, just, you know, all aspects of their life because there's nothing here for the youth anymore.
You know, that kind of spawns another question because I grew up playing roller hockey and Hockey World and all that.
I remember you mentioned
so
that.
I kind of know of a little bit of what you guys do. You know, I'm not into the tricks and things, but, you know, I was with the guys playing hockey on.
I'm just a pro cruiser is what I tell people.
Yeah. But I kind of understand the dirt you chew a little bit here. And so my question too is like, you know, could it get to a point where it's, you know, because like you're saying, you know, it's growing and everything else, but you guys are very much not only skaters, but you're also your pit crew and engine, you know, so, you know, odds are if your skates aren't working or your board's not working or your bike's not working, who's the one working on it? You usually. So how much of the community is that too, where it's just the exchange of hey, these are good trucks, the bearings, these are the great wheels for this. I mean, how much of the community is that that technical side of? I mean,
it's a lot of our skaters. So we did a skate class for March and you know, that was where the skateboarders, you know, and we had different skateboarders teach the class like every other, you know, each weekend we would have another one come out. But the very first class, we had the skateboarders look at everyone's boards. And even when we don't have those, like skating, just if you're at the park and we notice something's up with a kid's board, we go and help and explain to them. Because, like, a lot of times, too, the parents will go to Big Five or Walmart and buy one of, like, the Tony Hawk boards there, which, you know, it's a really great idea to get all those, you know, to make it more accessible for those who can't afford it.
Sure.
But they're like $40 anyways, or $20 to $40, and you have to replace those bearings. Wheels,
and they're built for just general skating. They're probably not
even push
built or designed for doing ramp work or anything.
It's not even the street. You can barely, because the bearings are like stuck in those wheels. So a lot of times we'll give kids new bearings like, hey, and then the board works fine, you know? So but even element decks, that they actually sell brand new completes for little kids $40 online, you know? And that's what we always try to tell the parents, like, hey, you know, next time you guys get a board, like, let us know and we'll help you get one.
Yeah, and I knew that from like the rollerblade side because I'm like, and because for folks that don't know, you know, depending on what you're doing with rollerblades, there's a different type.
Exactly.
There. If you're playing hockey with it, there's a different type of rollerblade than if you're just skating around the backyard with it, kind of thing. Now, if you're doing speed skating or more figure, you know, it's all the blade, the wheels are set up like for hockey. It's what they call a rocker style, where the four wheels on your rollerblade, the two inside wheels are lower than
the other day I had a busted bearing, and Bob, great guy, he gave me some new bearings, and it was just awesome. He was like, I can hear your broken bearing from here. I was like, I know, it's so
you
bad.
sound like a hot mess coming.
I was like, oh my gosh. But
that's the cool part of the community, too.
For sure.
Because you make friends, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool in this park, and it's going to be great when it's all said and done, but
Correct.
really, it's a community bringing things together. It's really about a place for folks, young people, old people, all people, to come together and hang out. Whether you were a skater when you were a kid, now you want to bring your kids out here, or you know what? No, I want to be in the X Games. That's my goal for one day, to be doing that, or the Olympics. Yeah, that's my goal nowadays, and whatever that is, the skate park is there for that, to meet those needs.
Exactly. We're actually, and that was another contact we just, we already got their information, set of requirements, and it's already been given to BHI, who are the designers right now, and it's right now when we're doing the concept design. So, we're trying to make sure that we get all of that input, got put into the design.
Sure. So at end game here, is there a desire to, when this is all said and done, where we could even attract some of the bigger level of skate to here, where we're seeing some of the professional level skaters coming through Roswell, even if it's for demonstrations and stuff, maybe leading to perhaps a competition of some kind?
Yes, and there's actually some people in El Paso. It's the Pacatoo Skate Plaza. They do those all the time. They do skate demos, and they'll have these events. And so I actually started asking them, like, hey, how do you guys go about doing this? And so they've kind of put me in the direction. And that's why our nonprofit is so important right now, is because once we get, local businesses, interested in donating to us, because we even have a fiscal nonprofit until ours is 100% up and running, thanks to Dan Jennings from the Hagerman Forward nonprofit.
They're kind of being your umbrella until your paperwork is all.
Yes, and he's been very helpful with everything, because I could not get this nonprofit done without him, for sure. And so
it lines up with what they do too with 100% Chaves County and all that. It's all about making better quality of life
for the youth,
for the community. Yeah.
And so we can actually pay them to do skate demos here. And one goal that I'm really hoping is, once it is up and running, and once we do get the local businesses, because we're even trying to come up with sponsor packages right now, just to get the businesses interested. And so once we have all that set in stone, we're gonna go knocking on all their doors. But the end goal is, once we get enough donations and, we have enough to supply our town as well, is to pay for local skate demos for the pros to come down. Because it's literally, all we have to do is just pay for their, their way here, their lodging, and I work
expenses
for a hotel. So I'm like, we'll figure something out.
You got some ins.
Yes, and that's and I think definitely during the UFO festival would bring a huge thing. And that would bring a lot of people to town, skating wise. And especially imagine, we had BAM just roll through by accident, because they were going they wanted to check out Stellar Coffee. They were going to all these local coffee shops.
Okay.
But, imagine if there's an amazing, huge park here, all the accidental, skateboarders that are just going to come through because they know this is here.
Sure.
And on top of it, too, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the last video game he came out with had a secret level, which was Roswell.
Oh, wow.
And so that's why the UFO theme is such a, that's why we were pushing for it, because we're we need to build
There is a
UFO.
niche there. Let's embrace it and let's do something with it. Yeah.
There's even a park that's literally just a frying pan with eggs in it, and people drive all over to skate that park. And I'm like, who wouldn't drive to come skate some UFO-like features,
Absolutely, yeah.
And we actually had an online survey, too, and more than half the public wanted that. And it was all yeses and just maybes, and then one or two no's, But yeah, so I'm stoked that it's a yes, because that's definitely a way to bring people in.
Sure. Well, what's the possibilities? Maybe you do maybe we create something, here, cosmic bowling and things like that. Maybe we do something with skates, alien skates or something weird. I don't know.
No, and
but there's the possibilities there.
There's so many possibilities are endless when it comes to that, And especially with our youth, because they're so involved in what we're doing, and they have such good ideas that once we all workshop everything, we'll have ideas for sure.
Absolutely. But it sounds good. So I guess the next thing is this next planning meeting here to kind of unveil preliminary concept for the skate park.
Yes.
And when is that meeting again?
It's going to be May 1st at 4:30 at the Roswell Public Library, and it's super important.
And the public is invited and encouraged to come be a part of this.
Yes, because if they don't like something, they need to come and speak up, because this is the time. If they don't, it's going to be stuck in there.
Once the cement's laid and everything's down, it's kind of hard to fix it.
Yeah, and we're not going, like, this is what this next meeting is for. And there's also a Parks and Rec meeting tonight, which it will be at 5:30 at the Parks and Rec building off of 4th Street.
Okay.
And that's really good, too, because normally when we go to city council meetings, we can't ask questions. We can only give a statement.
Sure.
And that's it.
It's very structured and formal.
100%. So at this, we're actually allowed to ask the questions, and
a little
it's
bit
all
more
on
exchange of
record.
ideas going on there.
Yeah, and so that kind of gives, the public a chance to have more transparency in everything going on.
And like you said, this is new. This is, and let's face it, we're bringing the people that this is their world and introducing it to the people that it's not their world. And so you got to find the compromise there. You got to have enough of the high-end expert stuff that keeps the people that this is what they do, but at the same time bring some stuff that brings in newbies and people that know of skating but have never donned or put themselves on anything with wheels before, to get them to be interested and come out and try this too, even if it's just to come out and go skate around in the rink for a little bit and just bring their family out to skate with them for a little fun, bring the kids. But either way, we want this park to be equally exciting for someone that's never picked up a skateboard or a rollerblade or a BMX bike or a scooter, to someone that this is what they do every day. And that's what this park is going to be, to bring the niche to the common and bring the commons to the niche stuff.
Exactly.
But that's the point of this.
And then I know also, too, a lot of the stuff we do is free. Like, we even have, like, the Skateboarding Day event, which is going to be on June 21st, and that'll start at 4, and that's on a Friday as well. And so last year, that was our biggest event that we had, and we had, like, 3 bands playing, and so we hope to get some bands playing, a Jolly Jump this go-around, too. Because even if they're not skating, they can go hop on in that, and, we really try.
Food trucks.
Yeah. No,
everybody likes food.
No, I
Come
wish.
on now.
Right. That would be fun.
Hey, food trucks, hang out, man. Come out there and go. Just
food trucks,
if you got a food truck, bring it. Come out there and just park. That's the beauty of food trucks.
Everyone come.
And we have
Everyone
barbecues. Like every time we do any type of event out there, we're out there with our grill,
Yeah.
But we do trash pickup too. That's the other important thing. And then, but also, too, I know a lot of people in town that aren't really aware of what's going on. They're like, we can't afford a skate park right now, but, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, the city's broke.
Yeah, the city is 100% broke. And we are not asking, and that's the important thing, is for people to know, we're not taking any money from
this is part of a grant program.
Yes.
It's a completely earmarked, separate thing.
We're bringing the money to
The
Roswell.
city's not
this
providing us the money. We're providing the city the money in order to get this
You guys
park
are going
built.
out doing the work, the legwork to get the grants and all that, and saying, hey, we got the money.
Yeah, well, it's a lot
Just
of Googling,
help us with
too.
your logistics so we can do it.
A lot of Googling.
Because unfortunately, we can't write the grant. The city we have to have the city grant writer do it, or one of the engineers, but we are definitely Googling, telling them where to go.
But this is what I also like, too, because it forces younger generation like yourself to see how the sausage is made and to learn how to navigate that system to get what you want.
For sure. It's great being a part of this. I mean, I'm learning so much, even just from Tori. From
to me, that's
everything.
the great part, is to learn a little bit of how, and even if you're hitting roadblocks and hitting stuff, at least you have a better understanding of how to get things done in our system.
And the important thing, too, isn't to give up. You have to keep going.
Yeah, because you're going to get told no a lot.
I've been
I'm sure you already
told no
have.
every day.
Yeah, you just got to get people to embrace the concept, and which has happened now.
And
now
it's such a good feeling,
yeah.
too, once you get those yeses, because you're like, well, hey, we made it farther than we thought,
Sure.
It's pretty awesome.
And this is something that I think your generation gets to embrace a little bit, is because now that skating and skateboarding and really the whole genre of the sport has now gone from, it was a rebel thing that punk kids did for angst, to now It's an Olympic event. It's X Games. It is as big a business as football or basketball or any other major sport.
When they're pushing all-inclusive, like, it's not just us who are wanting an all-inclusive skate community. It's all
everyone.
of them. It's the whole skate community almost. Like, of course, there's, half of them who, still want that rebel thing, but that's not here. We don't have any of those in our community.
Well, but even still, that's a little bit of the culture because, quite frankly, to get on a piece of wood with 4 wheels and go up and down ramps and fly midair, it takes a certain mindset to say this is, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you need that. That you need to function in life a little bit to do a lot. So there is always going to be that because that's what it takes to push the envelope, to go higher, faster, to add one more spin, to do it fakey or not fakey, whatever, to push that envelope to do the next thing. That's what it takes to do that.
No, for sure. And we're actually trying to plan an adult skate class for adults to learn how to drop in, because we did the kids skate class where the kids got to learn how to drop in. These little kids are amazing. And I mean, these kids have not been skating more than a couple months. They learned how to drop in within 15 minutes.
That's great.
And so once people saw that and they're like, what? Adults started reaching out. So we are planning something like that, because why not? Make it so they know how to use this new skate park
and
when
it's
it's
something
here.
they can take with them the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like when they're long and adults and whatever, even if they're not in an organized thing, if they need to go clear their head, they get on their board and go skate around for a little bit. Or they get on their rollerblades and skate around. Or they get on their bike and go do, even if they don't take this to the X Games or the Olympics, it is their thing that they get to do. Whether, their buddies go golfing or play tennis on the weekends, they go boarding.
No, and it's actually been really growing too. Even on our on the online survey, the biggest age group for skaters were the 30. It was 35 to 40 something was the second, but the highest one was the 54 age group.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Tony Hawk's define everybody. That man's in his 50s, and he's still arguably one of the best skaters in the world.
And all the injuries that guy has had, and he still can walk around better than us.
It's insane.
Well, he's also nuts. Like, I watched that documentary on him that I think HBO Max or one of those had. And it was right after he broke his leg around that time. And the beginning of that documentary shows him, he's trying to nail a trick. Mm-hmm. And he's literally going to a point where he needs to go to the hospital because he's beating himself up so bad trying to, and his people are like, Tony, please stop. And he's not. He's like, you can tell he's wincing in pain, but he's climbing back up the ladder,
and he keeps going,
getting at the top of the ramp and he nails the trick thing. He still does it, but and
a lot
I'm
of
sorry,
skateboarders
most
do
of us
the
aren't
same.
Tony that way.
No, but even yesterday, I was at the skate park, and the guys were doing the same trick because they kept falling. I was like, oh my God, your head, you're gonna break your head, and they just kept going, and I was like, and they eventually get it,
It's a big part of the sport.
I have so much respect for people that have that, because you're literally, and that's part of what skating can build for some of these kids, and building that mindset of determination. And when human beings get a passion for something, it's very hard to stop them off of that. And for skating, that's a lot of people.
Well, and nowadays too, a lot of things are just there now. Like everything's just, a kid wants something, they Google it. With the skating and stuff, they actually have to learn how to do the trick. So It's not something they can just get. They have to practice it, and it's teaching them,
But
it
skating's
teaches you stuff.
It's always like that. Like even in our younger days, it's always been the sport. You want it, you gotta build it.
You gotta earn it. You
And
gotta
so
work for it.
it literally, skating is built off the backs of themselves. If people want to build it, that's why I'm going to say most skaters also are amateur carpenters.
They're amazing at it too.
And because they want it, they build it. It isn't thing. And so we're trying to change that to make it to where there are facilities and places where they could just go buy a helmet, a skateboard, and some knee pads and go have some fun.
I ended up learning how to lay concrete out, actually, because I was going out there to fix cracks.
I'm about to say, y'all are amateur contractors here.
I'm definitely amateur on my end. I was like, hey, but somebody has to do it, because it's not getting done. So it's,
But that's skating, because the generation before you were doing the exact same thing, and the generation before that were doing the exact same thing.
Because even skate parks too, 10 years ago, they weren't like they are now. Like the new skate parks are amazing,
Well, and the vibe was always to make it a little ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you own it, you spray paint it up and tag it up and give it a vibe of that. And so people that don't know decide that that's a crime element. It's like, no, that's just the hangout. That's the clubhouse.
Yeah,
that's the clubhouse.
Well, and even at the old skate park, we started doing we would have people who do graffiti on a large scale. We got them. They did drawings, and we took it to Parks and Rec, and they approved some of them. Some of them they didn't approve of. That happens.
Sure.
And the ones that got approved, they went out there and painted, and it worked. It because our plan was, let's get the guys who are coming out here that aren't good at graffitiing, that are just spraying wherever.
Let's get some people to know what they're doing and make some art out of it.
And so it deterred the graffiti, and even right now too, like one of them did get tagged up, but that guy got caught and arrested because it was the one that was tagging all around town.
People see it and they respect. It's like, I respect what they're doing here. That would be blasphemous for me to tag it or do something shady to it.
And that's why we asked the graffiti people too, because they understand it's not, they paint something, they never see it again. So they wouldn't be upset when it accidentally got tagged, Sure. So, and we still are doing that, but, with the wind and stuff, it just takes time.
Well, it evolves too. Maybe the painting's not relevant anymore. All right, let's paint something new.
Exactly.
That's
and it'll never last forever,
Absolutely. That's the thing with skating. As skating is, I mean, yes, you can enjoy it your whole life, but your mindset of what you think about it changes. The younger, you're a little more angry, a little bit more trying to make your way in the world and trying to prove to everybody your worth. And then when you hit a certain age, you're done proving, and you're just like, I'm here doing my thing, man. You like it? Great. If you don't,
exactly,
not my problem.
You're right. No, and that is true, 100%.
Yeah. But this is very cool. So please come to these meetings. Come to the Parks and Rec meeting today.
Yes.
Come out on May 1st to the unveiling of kind of our first conceptual drawings of this new skate park and what it hopes to be someday. And obviously, when we see that, that's where people will be, I like that, but this and that. And that's where we'll all pick it apart and do what we do, because that's what humans do. But this is a good thing. This is all putting us to someday we're going to have a new park, and we're going to have the big scissors cutting the ribbon thing and all that stuff and all that.
And we picked a location too.
That's right.
Yeah, so the location is going to be directly right behind the old skate park in that dirt field between the
aquatic.
Yeah, the aquatic center's parking lot and the that playground, the all-inclusive.
So is there plans for what is currently the skate park? Is that going to be something else? Are they going to expand it into more skate park, or just stay as the old skate park?
We actually are that was a great question, because a lot of people, keep saying they think that it's part of the same project. Unfortunately, with the grants, you have to. The grants are very strict, where it has to be a whole new park. You can't work on the old park with that grant.
Can't renovate. It's to create.
So, but because I've been aware of that for a year now, I've actually been working with skate ecosystems and the engineers, because the engineers even agree we need professionals to come out here and repair this park. And they also have park funds for repairs and everything. We just need somebody in the city building to sign off on it, and once they do, and they already got like the offer and stuff, because what we need to do is go in and all those conjunction joints, I think that's what it's called, but all the joints in the skate parks, they're huge cracks now. So they have to go through and jackhammer all of that out and then re-pour the concrete.
So it's a little bit of major renovation there.
Yeah, but it was, and all the engineers even said that was a great offer, like a good I forget the word, but the pricing that they were given, they all were for
reasonable.
Yeah, and so even if not, like with our nonprofit, our goal is to, if the skate park does have a crack or something, once we have the money, if
to maintain it.
Yeah, and it and that's what we want to do is because we can't demo it. Unfortunately, it would be a lot easier just to bulldoze that whole old park and start all over. But that would just cost too much money.
And then who knows, if down the road, maybe it evolves and we expand it to the other park, and we just say, hey, if popularity is there, we need another section for or another rink or another ramp or whatever.
And even those metal ramps, we've talked about lifting them up and moving them maybe to the east side of town or somewhere even down at the base, because they technically have a skate park down there.
Yeah.
It's just one ramp though. It's
Well, and I could easily see if like hockey, say the roller hockey catches on, they start leagues. They're going to need more than one court.
Oh, for
Because when you have more teams, it's like soccer fields. You're going to need a couple of them to get, and so that might be the evolution of that down the road, where depending on where the demand is, and maybe it's ramps, maybe it's roller rinks, whatever. Who knows? But it allows you to let it grow as demand and what people want from it change.
And that's the idea too is once those blue ramps are lifted, then we can have, skate ecosystems come in, pour something new, like, a new type of something, or like a ramp or like concrete type of structures, and it would be really, and that's kind of where sorry, I had a brain fart for a second. And that's where the public really comes in, because I make sure I get all of the skaters' opinions, the ones who want to voice it. And a lot of the times you'll see something repeated a lot. So that's the main thing.
Sure, if a lot of people say the same thing, then that's probably an important thing to include. And so
whatever we do, we're going to make sure we get our public's opinion, because they're going to be writing it more than I am, And we want to make sure that they do feel like they're part of the whole process with planning and design, because that'll give them the love for the new park. So let's say somebody's out there graffitiing it, they might stop that because they actually helped build the park, in a sense. And it'll give them more pride towards this. Like, they'll feel like, oh, I own it. Or not I own it, but they accomplished something with the building.
They take a sense of ownership.
Yeah, like pride and stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's going to have bathrooms, too.
That would be important.
Yes.
Because sometimes you got to pee.
Every now and then.
And they don't. We're out of time here, but if folks want to learn more too, on Facebook, if you go to UFO Skate Bash is what it's under, Roswell, you can like and follow and stay up to date on all these meetings, updates. If you want to get more involved and volunteer, that's probably a good way to reach out to you guys.
For sure.
And get part.
Our email is also ufoskatecollective@gmail.com, and that's what our Instagram's under. And so our Instagram, we have daily updates all the time too.
So if you do more Instagram, it's more, but older
it's
folks like us are on
so it's shared. It goes to Facebook.
Us gray heads and no hairs go on Facebook. So
yeah, that's what I had before all this. I had to get with the young group. I'm like, okay, what are they on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But come out and come be involved and come out to the old park here and get come bring your rollerblades and start meeting the community and have some fun. And
because we do stuff all the time.
Absolutely. Good deal. Well, thank you, girls.
No, thank you for having us.
Anytime. We'll see you next time.
See you next time, Mike.
Next time, maybe we're talking about groundbreakings and things. Who knows? Maybe the next step. So, yeah, crossing fingers and toes.
No, for sure. Thank you so much.
But thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I almost took your toy.
Thank you, too.
That's all right. We got more. It is 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico, news in progress.
Service improvements the agency rolled out since receiving tens of billions in new funding through the Inflation Reduction Act.
Agency leadership is trying to bring attention to what's been done to repair its image as an outdated and malign tax collector. Two improvements include cutting phone wait times and digitizing more documents. The IRS is also improving the Where's My Refund tool to show more account details in plain language.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Stocks are higher and oil prices are easing, with hopes international efforts to calm escalating tensions in the Middle East may help. The Dow is ahead 148 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index adding 19.